Just get it.
Week 2 in the CFL kicks off in the nation's capital, where the RedBlacks begin their 2024 campaign against the Bombers. Drew Brown attempting to hand his former team their second loss of the season, while Winnipeg is hoping to avoid that fate and get back on track.
Were you aware that this man, Drew Brown, sits in the CFL record books with the most consecutive touchdown passes, 9 without recording an interception? But the only record he's concerned about now is leading his team to a 1-0 record.
Johnny Augustine will get his start in the backfield for Brady O. He's had a good start to his career, but he's going to be the main man tonight. Not an easy task against Santos Knox and Frankie Griffin on the other side.
New threads for this man, Dom Rhymes. He returns home. You know what he told me before the game? He said, I'm looking to make Ottawa fun again.
I'm trying to make this panel fun again. Well, the Bombers are with Brady Oliveira and Kenny Lawler for this one. They do have a big name returning to the lineup. Adam Bighill making his season debut tonight. He was on the 6-game injured list last month, but is ready to rock and roll tonight. And this panel is ready to rock and roll tonight. It is Thursday Night Football on TSN. Kate Burness alongside Enoch Wamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel. Gentlemen, it is nice to be home.
Good to see you, buddy.
Welcome back.
It's good to be back. Farhan was a little too comfortable in this chair. By the way, when did we get sponsored by New York Fries?
New York
That's
Fries.
a new one, isn't it?
You're pretty fired up about that, eh?
Well, I was expecting French fries in front of me, and I have nothing.
Would you eat them, Kate?
Milt took them all.
Milt. I was going to say, you probably ate the entire thing. All right, we'll get the panel's thoughts on this game in just a moment. But first, let us go to the nation's capital and join Claire, Hannah, and Claire, you have promised me this evening there will be no weather delays in this game, correct?
Correct, Kate. I'm going to tell the refs we're going to keep things rolling here at TD Place. But you know what? There was a bit of delay last week for Winnipeg, because not only did they start the season with a loss, they started with a loss at home. And in the words of head coach Mike O'Shea, he said it was a double whammy that doesn't happen very often. And as they try to get things going in week 2, they're going to be without 2 of their biggest weapons on offense in Brady Oliveira and Kenny Lawler. Now, Lawler had 900 receiving yards last year in just 12 games, but he is on the 6th game after suffering a fracture to his arm. And Brady Oliveira is missing his first game, if you can believe it, in 3 seasons. He was last year's CFL rushing leader, but he got tweaked in the game against Montreal, so he will not be in the lineup. And as a result, you're going to see a very different Winnipeg offense, and it could be challenging for play caller Buck Pierce. Now, on the other side of the field, when it comes to the RedBlacks, Drew Brown is making his first start as the #1 pivot for his team in the CFL. And you know what? It's crazy because he's playing against his former team. When he looks across, he sees Zach Collaros, who he learned from for 3 seasons. But he said he's not preparing for this game any differently. But given his relationship with some of the Bombers, he said that he might be a little bit more engaged, if you will, in this game and find it more exciting. But Brown knows the Bombers know Brown, and in his words, he thinks it's going to be an equal playing field here tonight.
All right, so this will be an interesting topic. I like that one, too, and you guys were debating this before we came on. Who has the advantage? Is it Drew Brown or is it the Bombers knowing him? We'll get to that in a moment, but first we have to start with Winnipeg. Enoch, it was a lackluster start, to say the least, in week #1. You expect them to bounce back because they're that team. They're that team that we know for so many years have done so many different things. But just with these 2 injuries, it does seem overly daunting. I like what Zach Collaros said this week, too. It's not just their skill on the field. It's also the leadership that Kenny Lawler and Brady O bring to this team.
Absolutely. I mean, Kate, You talk about a team that always starts really well. And this year, obviously, week 1, lost a game. Not just a game, but lost at home. Milt, how many times do you remember seeing a game at their stadium as quiet as it was in week 1? It doesn't happen too often. But losing these 2 guys is going to be difficult for them to get things going. We always talk about football being a game of inches. It is also a game of rhythm. And getting rhythm without those 2 is going to be difficult.
Yeah, that's difficult. And when was the last time you look at a Bombers team and you can honestly say they lost the battle of the interior of the line of scrimmage? I think they lost the line of scrimmage in the interior offensively last week, and they lost outside. We talked about it after the game last week. When I was trying to figure out what was wrong with this team, and I said, I don't see separation. Now, I question maybe some of the playmakers. And we know these playmakers on this team are good. I think, you like their receiving core?
Yes, without a doubt.
But do they have separators?
They don't.
They don't. And their best separators?
They really don't have any now.
Right. So that for me is an issue, and we'll see how they adjust. But one of the things I'm looking for is for Zach to get the ball in his hands quicker. Because when you don't have separators, you got to find ways, whether it's motion, stuff on the run, stuff pre-snap to get it going so you can get those quick, easy completions.
The offense was just sour. That's what they were last week. They were sour. Usually when we talk about a good offense, that was a sweet offense. Yuck. Suckers, they were sour last week, and they need to get it together. They need to get it together. There's no more time to say, okay, it's early in the season. They better have a sense of urgency, and it's not going to be an easy task. You talked about their 2 players out. Arguably, those are their 2 best playmakers, and maybe there is no argument. You talk about Kenny Lawler, that man who can go downfield, can make the tough catch in traffic, and Brady Oliveira, that is their meat and potatoes. They don't have him in the offense anymore. If I'm Buck Pierce, I'm going to get Strathler involved in that offense a little bit more. I know they like to bring him in and have him run the ball. I'm going to get him involved even more in that offense so they can have a better chance of winning this game.
Maybe a little strength versus strength, though. You look at the strength of this. What do you think the strength of this Ottawa defense is? Their linebackers are pretty good. I like the matchup on the outside. You're missing 2 of your starters in the Ottawa secondary who they thought they would have during training camp in the preseason. They don't have. So there's maybe a matchup there,
Winnipeg is starting a rookie at receiver who replaced Lawler.
Listen, you're talking about linebackers. One of the bright side for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, bringing back Big Hill.
Yeah.
He is going to have to be a constant for them.
Biggie's back. Nope, just like old times. We don't even have time for the second question, so we have to go home to the commercial now. Nothing has changed around here. Coming up after the break, speaking of Adam Big Hill, Claire Hanna is standing by with him, and we give our anytime touchdown picks. I think I get 2 picks.
Why?
Here's a look at the 5 most popular anytime touchdown picks for Thursday Night Football. Per the FanDuel traders, 69% of the bets coming in. And anytime touchdown scores market are on Dustin Crum at plus money. Polk has the longest odds on the graphic at 4-1. It is time for the panel's picks. And I was just informed today that there is a prize for the winner of this segment, which we did not have last season. So that's, Milt, why I get 2 picks, because I wasn't here last week.
That's fair.
Oh, don't look at me like I shouldn't. You know I deserve it. Enoch, who are you picking in this game?
I'm going to go with Braylon Addison, guys. I'm bringing Braylon Addison. I think he's due for a big game. This is going to be a big season for him, and he's going to start off strong.
Milt, you go next because I copied you.
I'm with the Crumster. Dustin Crum, yeah. I know he's the backup quarterback, but he's going to get some opportunities. We know he can run the ball. He led all quarterbacks in rushing last year, and he's also tied for the league in rushing touchdowns with Brady Oliveira. So they're going to use him the similar way that Winnipeg Blue Bombers use Strathler, so Crum will get a touchdown today.
I took Crum. We have a text chain, a group chat that we have, and Milt put his pick in, and then like 50 minutes later, Milt messaged back and said, I'm changing it to Crum.
You should be disqualified.
I thought he had some inside info, so I'm like, he's got some. He saw some on the film, jumped out, so I'm going with Crum. I jump on it, and then...
Why are you telling everybody my business, dude?
Well, you cheated. You cheated. You changed your pick this morning when you saw the odds.
You did change.
You did change.
Kay, you just got back, Kay. You got to be quiet for a second.
You know what,
Kay.
Milt? I can do whatever I want, and you totally cheated, if I'm honest.
I didn't cheat.
Let's add some actual facts to this. He's the short yardage quarterback. We know that. He's athletic, and he's getting plus money. Yeah. So it is a logical pick, and I think at home, I think they got to score, and if they do, remember, pass interference, anything else than 1 yard line, that's crumb zone. So great pick, even though you didn't know why. You didn't know why.
My bookie told me to change up.
Bookies are illegal, Mill.
Okay, by the way,
That's messed up, Kate.
let's go over to my pick because I think I deserve this, and it's Drew Wolotarski. And you know why? Rod Smith's calling this game, and all I want to hear tonight is Roddy Smith say Wolotarski on. This is how I make my picks, by the way. I don't even look at the money lines. I just look at the players' names that I enjoy. All right, so let's take a look. Chezzy and Milt, you're both on Crum, along with the majority of FanDuel bettors who like him to score for the RedBlacks tonight. Enoch, you like Braylon Addison to score at longer than 2-to-1 odds. I've got Wolotarski at plus money for Winnipeg. Our anytime TD picks for Thursday Night Football officially locked in. By the way, I'm a huge fan of these RedBlacks jerseys this evening. Let's get over to Claire Hanna standing by with Adam Bighill.
Adam, Mike O'Shea said last week was a wake-up call. I know you weren't on the field, but from your perspective, what were you lacking?
You know, really just discipline and execution. I mean, and it wasn't a lot. It's just enough. And that's the problem and why this game's so great. You need everybody doing the right thing at the right time. And, I mean, it's pro football. I mean, they're gonna take advantage of, you know, that one spot that's missing. So, you know, everyone's got to do their job, hit their bullseye.
Adam, you told me you love playing former quarterbacks because you can get your hands on them for the first time. How are you going to play Drew tonight?
As always, aggressive, you know, play the game within the game. I know he knows that I'm not a typical kind of guy and show up in typical kind of spots. So, you know, I think, you know, it's going to be a fun battle.
And as you enter your 12th CFL season, how are you feeling to be stepping on the field for the first time with the Bombers this season?
I mean, fantastic. I mean, I really haven't been counting the years. It's been making the years count. And, you know, I think that's just kind of show with my play and what I do and how I operate. So, you know, this train ain't stopping.
Thank you, Adam.
Appreciate it.
Certainly nice to see Biggie back in the lineup tonight.
That's my last teammate, by the way. I just realized. I just looked around. That's the last guy I played with.
Is it?
Last guy that's still in the league, yeah.
You are old.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of old, now you've made it all in a very nice career in broadcasting, though. And you know what, as I was watching week number 1, there was a lot of fan interaction on X. And Mark Fulton, our Fender guy 69 here, said the first CFL season with the CFL on TSN panel, the wardrobe rankings.
Surprise?
Here we go.
Surprise?
Here we
Who is
go.
Mark? Are we surprised?
Who is Mark?
Now, Kate, I give it today. You got it today, Kate.
I do.
You got it.
I wore the red power suit. The only problem with the red power suit is I obviously blend into the background. But Enoch, you got to step your suit game up.
That's tough.
Hey, Enoch, come check me out. I'll get you together.
Man,
I'll get you
Enoch.
I'll get you together.
Producer Jamie just said you lost to Farhan.
He did.
Oh, my goodness.
Tough. He wears those
I
flower
got to have a
shirts,
talk with Mark, man. I got to find him on
Are you going to go
Twitter,
troll?
X,
Do you
and
have one of those like burner
We're going to have to
accounts?
go talk. No, I'm not even going to hide it. I'm going to have a talk with him.
to his phone, honey.
You know what?
Better
We're just being told that if anyone ranks our fits today, now I don't count because I know I placed first. So, but if you guys want to rank their 3 fits tonight, we'll put it on at halftime.
It says he's blind. Of course, it makes sense he put Milt first.
All right, I'm really sorry, Enoch, you placed last, but better luck this week. All right, don't go anywhere. We've got plenty more coming up. And you know what? The cool part was seeing Ice Cube recently with this man. It's a Darius Pickett who sits down with our Matthew Shinetti, but he also presented Ice Cube with this fit, and it seems Ice Cube a pretty big fan.
Like the colors. Well, look at RedBlacks. God damn, that's an R9 too.
Hey.
The self-proclaimed party starter, Darius Pickett, no doubt one of the biggest offseason signings for the RedBlacks after a tremendous year with the Toronto Argonauts. Now, we all know he has swagger on the field, but he might have even more off of it. Well, not as much as the panel.
You know you want to do it, do it, do it. You know you want to do it, do it, do it. You know you got to do it, do it, do it. You know you want to do it.
Yeah, we all know I look the best. Here's Matthew Shinetti.
I like sneakers. I spent way too much money on sneakers, but I think that a pair of those beautiful sunglasses you got on might be worth just a little bit more than the Chucks that I've purchased. Why that flex? What is it about shades in you? Because I've seen you wear some shades through your time with the
Yeah, I've been wearing sunglasses probably since I was like 30 years old. And I've always, my pops, he wore sunglasses a lot. And we know we look on TV, you see a lot of the celebrities. And I always, like, since a little kid, like, man, I'm a celebrity, man. You gotta have the shades on. It just makes me feel good. And it's just been a part of me since, like I said, that age, and it's just carried on through. Like, you probably never see me without sunglasses on.
But is there anybody that you, any player, you know, you think of guys like Terrell Owens when they would wear shades?
Nah, see, I never really, you know, the football players, you know, I really like Michael Jackson, you know, when he's certain artists like the Temptations, some of those guys, you know.
On social media, you let your opinions be known, especially going into free agency. Why did you feel like you wanted to keep hammering home your opinions on free agency on your platform? Like, how much fun was that?
It was fun. It was fun. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't get a chance to go and go through that process. So my thing was like, you know, get as many fans as I could to be able to see what I'm, you know, kind of going through. Not all of the intricate details, but it's a process. And a lot of times people make opinions off of things that they don't really know what's really going on. So it was kind of fun.
We're in Ottawa, man, the nation's capital, baby. Welcome to the party, man. Come party with Six, baby. Come on.
Why Ottawa? What ultimately fit with you and the RedBlacks?
Their defense. I mean, I always look at how I can fit and who can get me better as far as a player. You know, I'm always looking to elevate my game and get better. And I feel like Coach Barry Miles, defensive coordinator there, I started my CFL career with him in Montreal, and I liked what he was teaching and what he was, you know, who he is as a coach. Also respect to, you know, his game as a former CFL player as well, and all his accolades. But I feel like I was able to grow under him. So being able to link back up with him and have him coach me, I think will take my game to the next level.
Education has been important.
Absolutely.
To your family. I mean, you, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you have 2 degrees.
Yeah.
And you finished school early. As successful as you continue to be in this league, where was it put into you that education was the most important thing?
See, my pops, he played professional baseball, minor league baseball, played for the Oakland A's and the Kansas City Royals for a couple years. He didn't go to college. He was always teaching us, like telling us that, man, you need something to fall back on, you know, and education is always gonna be that source to fall back on. You gotta have that. And if we didn't have good grades, from a young age, we couldn't play, you know what I'm saying? And that translates to high school. Of course, if you don't have a certain GPA, then you're not gonna be eligible to play. So me wanted to be the best at everything I did, and that came along with school too.
Does it give you a certain sense of confidence that you've got, like you said, you got the support around you, but you also invested in yourself? What does that do for you as a football player? Like when you're out there, you don't feel that kind of pressure because you're like, you know, man, like I've invested in myself. I got people invested in me. I'm not alone out here.
I think pressure a lot of times comes from lack of preparation, and I prepare, I would like to think, better than, you know, any and everybody. You know, like I said, off-season workouts, I wake up at 4:15 every day. Usually my first workout starts at 5:30. You know, I work out 2 or 3 times a day. So when I get to this, you know, season, get to the games, the pressure is never felt. It's always me just being happy of being outside and playing with my friends. That's what I like to think about in my head. It's just playing with my friends like, you know, I was just a little kid again. And I go out there and I celebrate for all of the hard work that I done put in over all of these years.
Drew Brown at quarterback for an injured Zach Collaros. 4 touchdown passes when his team trailed 22-0. Drew Brown getting it done in place of Zach Collaros.
They've been pretty content with him as a backup to Zach Collaros, and you can see why. And the rest of the league can see why.
Big CFL news out of Ottawa. The RedBlacks acquiring quarterback Drew Brown.
There's not much doubt that Drew Brown will be given every opportunity to be Ottawa's #1 quarterback.
Ottawa celebrating their 10th year anniversary. The first ever quarterback, Henry Burris, in attendance from first to the newest. And Drew Brown, here he is with Claire Hanna.
Drew, new season, new team, and new position for you on the depth chart. How are you feeling about your first start with the RedBlacks?
Excited. I'm ready to go.
When you were warming up, how strange was it to look across the field and see the team you used to play with?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time, right? So a little different, but we're ready to go. Should be a good one.
How would you like to set the tone in this game?
To execute from the first play to the last.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very comfortable, ready to go. All right, we posed this question at the beginning of the show, and I think it's an intriguing one. And you guys were talking about this before we came to air, too. Because who does have the advantage? I mean, we haven't seen a ton of Drew Brown, but the Bombers have to know him. But he has to know the Bombers in depth as well. Enoch, who has the advantage in your opinion?
In my opinion, 1,000% it's got to be Drew Brown. I mean, like you said, the Bombers never really saw him interact and do everything that he needs to do for this club with the Ottawa RedBlacks. And so for me, it's got to be Drew Brown. On top of that as well, look, they didn't even play week 1. Nope. So they don't even have any film to watch to prepare for this game. So it's got to be Drew Brown.
When Drew Brown practiced against the Bombers, he was a scout team quarterback.
That's right.
It's very rare where your backup actually gets first team reps unless your starter is hurt, and that very rarely happens. So he knows this defense. Does that mean he's going to have success? Not necessarily, but he has the up on him. I talked to Travis Moore, the RedBlacks receiving coach, and he said these receivers are going to do whatever it takes. Yes, they have some great receivers, but the guy he's looking forward to is Devontae Deadman. Dead man walking. He says they're going to use him as running back at receiver. They're going to get him involved so much that's going to allow Drew Brown to get the ball out of his hand, get it to his playmakers, allow him to make some plays. And that's what you want to do when you get your first start as a franchise quarterback.
I'm going to pose this question to both you guys. What does Drew Brown, knowing this defense, he knows the Winnipeg defense, what advantage does he have knowing the defense?
That's what I said. I don't know if he's going to have success just because he knows it. Yeah.
I mean, he can anticipate what he can foresee ahead, but it's a whole new system.
Okay. I'm going to disagree strongly. I'm going to say it's the defense's advantage. Here's why.
Winnipeg.
Yes, Winnipeg, thank you. Winnipeg Blue Orange defense. But here's why. If you're offense, there's only a certain amount of coverages that teams play. There's no secret coverage. We know. I can tell you right now, it's from a form of cover 4 last year. The Bombers played it 47% of the time. Some form of cover 3, that was the top, by the way, of the league. 7% cover 3, some form of 3 deep. That was the least amount of cover 3 snaps. Every team plays, you know what coverages teams play. The question is, when are they going to play it? And he doesn't know that because JY is a first-year coordinator. And he knows what Drew Brown struggles with. He knows what throws he has a tough time making. He knows what defense that he sees that he doesn't feel great with. I think there's a huge advantage for the defense here and not the offense.
As I mentioned, Drew Brown was running scout team reps.
Right.
He was looking at a card, and his passes and drops were based on what the opposing team that Winnipeg was playing.
Right.
That's what it was based on. He didn't see the true Drew Brown. He didn't see the offense that Drew Brown was running.
Ever ran 2-minute drill in practice? Never in training camp? Never in any situation? Of course he did.
But in small portions, though. It wasn't in small portions. It wasn't in game-like situations where they're running an offense now based around Drew Brown.
And here's the other thing that I like about Drew Brown as well. He is a dual threat as well.
Absolutely.
He doesn't just have to sit down in the pocket and throw the rock. He can definitely run. We'll see how much they're going to allow him to do that with this offense.
You know, the only thing I'd say, too, and I get it, whether you're an Ottawa fan or a Winnipeg fan at home, I mean, it would just be nice for Ottawa to have stability in this pocket. I mean, we have been sitting up here for years now talking about the quarterback carousel in the RedBlacks Association since really Henry Burris, so this would be really nice. Speaking of smiling Hank, by the way, for some reason he didn't come on the panel today, but he is still very loved in the nation's capital. Doing a little signing before the game here. They're honoring him at the game tonight, the first quarterback in franchise history. We've got kickoff between the RedBlacks and the Bombers coming up next on TSN. CFL kicks off from the nation's capital, where the RedBlacks begin their 2024 campaign, celebrating their 10th anniversary. Henry Burris in the house, and they've got a new QB in the house. It is Drew Brown, attempting to hand his former team their second loss of the season. Winnipeg not looking great last week. Zach Collaros and Winnipeg hoping to avoid that fate and getting back on track. It is Thursday Night Football, and I've told it was been presented by New York Fries. But we have no French fries for some peculiar reason, because Milt probably ate them all. Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel, as we get set for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers taking on the Ottawa RedBlacks. Let us go key matchups in this game. Milt Stiegel.
Well, I spoke of him in our pregame show, Devontae Dedmon. I've been told that he's going to get many touches, not just on special teams, but also on offense, as a running back and a receiver. So I'm looking forward to how that Winnipeg defense and their special teams unit is going to stop Devontae Dedmon.
Winnipeg's interior offensive line struggled last week. Colin Kowski had a tough time with Mustafa Johnson, and that's saying it nicely. Let's see how he goes against Cleon Lang. Also, I'm adding one more. On the outside, Money Hunter and Lamont, they got to tackle the wide receivers outside for Winnipeg, because I believe Zach gets the ball out of his hands quickly. So it's one-on-one tackles on the outside, Ottawa's corners.
I'm looking at the defense of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. We're talking about Drew Brown, his first game as the leader of this club. Guess what Jordan Younger is going to do? You talked about him, Chaz. He's going to test him. How aware is he in the pocket? Can he really sling it on the run? Willie J is going to have a field day tonight.
You know what? You wonder how important this is for Winnipeg, too. I get it. You don't want an overreaction week number 2, but it was just such a flat performance a week ago. And now you've got no Kenny Lawler. You've got no Brady Oliveira. I mean, this is going to be a tough one, isn't it, Milts?
Yes, it is. It's very tough, and they need to have a sense of urgency. They can't come out and say, oh, it's early in the year. They need to win this game.
Yeah, they certainly do. All right, we're going to get you to the nation's capital after this. Hopefully Mother Nature playing nice. Thunderstorms in the area, but fingers crossed. It's my first week back, so we don't need that, do we?
No rain.
No rain, please. We'll get you to TD Place. It is the Blue Bombers and the RedBlacks coming up next on TSN.
Great to have you back, Kate. Thank you. Welcome to the nation's capital. A decade after the nation's capital, welcome back to Canadian Football League. Big anniversary for the RedBlacks against the first team they ever faced, Winnipeg. And Maddie, the biggest storyline has to be at Ottawa's quarterback, Drew Brown. First game with the RedBlacks up against his old team.
Yeah, and Drew comes over, highly touted, and he's only thrown a little over 150 passes in his career. It's mind-blowing how much weight has been put on this kid's shoulders, and they're looking for a guy that takes care of the football, and they're going to get that in Drew Brown, because he does not turn the football over. Winnipeg's hope they can force him to make a few mistakes tonight. But I tell you, Drew Brown is that kind of kid that just takes care of the football and exudes confidence from his teammates. And on the other hand, this is his mentor, Zach Collaros. If you're going to be seasoned, you might as well be seasoned in the kitchen with Zach Collaros as your teacher. And Zach really is unprecedented what he's done in Winnipeg. 39-9 over the regular season in his time there.
And like the RedBlacks, Mike O'Shea celebrating his 10th anniversary as the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. His second ever win came in Ottawa's first game. Bob Dice, his second full season as head coach, but he has been with the organization since back in 2016, 8 of the 10 years. Winnipeg won the toss and deferred. Ottawa will take the ball first, and there he is, Devontae Dedmon. The panel talked about it. He's looking like the form of 2019 and 21 when he was such a danger returning kicks. Ottawa's season opener, season number 10 in the hands of Dedmon, across the 30 and across the 40. And finally, taken down Suleiman Karamonko on a tackle on special teams for Winnipeg. So here comes Drew Brown up against his old club.
Right, already patting heads and getting in the face. And Nichols, and guy that he's going to be picking on probably most of the evening, but I tell you, this is exciting time. Heart rate's going a little crazy right now for number 3 out there, and let's get this party started.
Remember another addition on offense, a key free agent signing, Dominic Rhymes, who had some great seasons in D.C. and with Ottawa before that in 2019. They're on the ground to begin. Braylon Addison takes the handoff out of the backfield, has a good carry. We had wondered what Ottawa will do at running back. A 12-yard carry for a guy who's normally a slot back, Braylon Addison.
Yeah, and just watch the big hole over here. It opens up, and Braylon Addison, he's used to doing this. Did it in university, did it in high school. Heck, he was a quarterback in high school. He did this quite often in his best year in the CFL. 218 yards and 36 carries for Hamilton and a touchdown. So he's used to getting the ball in many different ways.
Now Raquel Armstead, the running back. A play fake to him for Brown, his first pass with the RedBlacks. And it's nearly caught. Jalen Acklin went up for it. Tyrell Ford came in and made contact just as the ball arrived, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, field side corner, and Jalen Acklin's just kind of waiting. Yes, it's a long throw, but you got to get it out. He center field turns forward, and Ford gets there late and disrupts the ball right there. He gets his right arm across into it. Acklin can't haul it in. Big play missed opportunity when they had the young corner turned around.
So a 2nd and 10 now. Armstead remains in the backfield. Ball just inside Bomber territory. Some movement from Adam Bighill up at the line. Flag comes out, and it's caught by Addison. Second touch of this game, his first catch. And if this is against Winnipeg, it is a big first down coming up for Ottawa.
Yeah, I think it is, too. And this is not a good sign for Winnipeg. Yeah, Haba down there on the field grabbing his knee. And
offside, Winnipeg, number 5. The penalties decline. The result of the play is a first down.
Talk about a quick learner. You know, I talked about the ball being late to Acklin on the deep corner the play before, and this time it's a tighter window. Ball's out with timing. It's perfectly thrown. He's going to look to his left. Kind of staring it down, but boy, he had options. Throws a dime into Addison. That's good chemistry right away.
And they call Willie Jefferson on the offside, but it's Celestin Haba, the injured member of the Bombers, still down on the field. We'll take a break and be back at TD Place in a moment. There is Winnipeg defensive end Celestin Haba, injured in the last play, which was a 30-yard gain by Ottawa to get them down deep in the Bomber zone. As Haba limps off and heads to the dressing room. Drew Brown, something to work with here. Taking the handoff and swinging it out to Justin Hardy. Gets inside the 20 and a good gain on first down. Let's have another look, Matty, at what happened to Celestin Haba.
Yeah, I'm going to highlight him here at the bottom of your screen. It's a non-contact injury when he goes up against Bull here. And right there, it looks like he just twists it, torques it a little bit, and then he's grabbing it right away, and that's typically not a good sign. So already a team that's banged up with injuries coming into this football game, looking for the first win on the road against the fired-up Ottawa RedBlacks team. They're down another man on the defensive side of the ball.
Big spot taken by 94, Devin Adams for Winnipeg. 2nd and 2 after that 8-yard pickup by Hardy. Drew Brown looking sharp early on, handing off, running play, and it is the aforementioned Raquel Armstead, new running back for the RedBlacks, who has enough to pick up the first down.
Yeah, Raquel, 6'1", 225 pounds up front. You're going to have these boys trying to clear the way for him. We just talked about Bull being knotted up with Haba, and he's obviously earned that right tackle spot, which is kind of up in the air. You got Rhymes and Armstead just carried the football there. Big, good-looking running back. Questionable coming this game. Looked pretty good on that last play. Rhymes, money receiver. He talked to Drew Brown, says he's never had one like Dominic Rhymes.
First and goal right at the 10 with time. Brown. A short pass, and it's popped out right away on contact. Adam Bighill back in the lineup after missing the opener last week with a big defensive play, Winnipeg.
Yeah, and you start with Willie. You don't hear many broadcasters say there were 0 stats for Willie in a game, and there were 0 stats for Willie in last week's game. I expect him to have a bounce-back game. Guy that wasn't there, Adam Bighill, their leader. We'll talk about him all night. Saw him there, and a couple of youngins on the corner. Now, if I'm Drew Brown out there, I'm looking at those guys all day long, testing to see what they're made of.
Terrell Bonds and Tyrell Ford on the corners. Alouettes tested them last week. 2nd and goal, and flags again with the movement at the line of scrimmage and into the end zone. A flag out, as mentioned. Tyrell Ford on the coverage there. Let's sort this out. We saw movement up at the line of scrimmage just as the ball was snapped as well.
Offside. Winnipeg, number 90. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Well, Miles Fox is flagged. 2nd offside penalty by the Bombers on this drive. So 2nd down and goal from the 5.
Yeah, I love how he's changing the cadence here, particularly on 2nd down. And he gets Winnipeg. He's chomping at the bit to get to him. And there he's just staring down a receiver. And watch his eyes. He's just staring down that receiver to the right side. He's going to get himself in trouble there if he's not careful, because I've seen him do that in his first drive in the football game, but to no avail. He's knocking on the door.
looking for a touchdown here in their opening drive of 2024 RedBlacks. Second down and goal with time. Brown flushed out, being chased by Fox. And he is forced to just get rid of it, and he takes a pop too. Retta Cramdy, the coverage linebacker, coming in as well on Brown as Fox was chasing too, and Cramdy with a hit on Brown.
And, you know, this is one of those situations where, yeah, he's trying to figure it out. As a young quarterback, I'm telling you, been there. You get inside the red zone, it seems like that end zone, yeah, it's deep, but you can't find it on a regular basis. And holds true for Drew Brown, knocking at the door. Almost throws that away and takes points off the board. Give Lewis Ward a chance here.
12-yard chip shot, Lewis Ward. One of the most accurate kickers in the history of the CFL. And he gets Ottawa on the board. They take the ball, they drive down the field, they get in the red zone, they come up with 3. So over to you, Zach Collaros, for game 2 for Winnipeg. It wasn't the Bomber football we've become used to over the last few years. This from their opener last week against Montreal. 3 turnovers. This and a botched punt return that led to a Tyson Philpott touchdown. Fumbled there by Myron Mitchell. And then taking points off the board when Marc-Antoine Dequoy had the pick off Collaros, and then Nick Dembski, Matty, with a good gain on this play, but ends up coughing up the football, leading to Montreal points.
Yeah, you lose a turnover battle, typically that's going to cost you ball games. And it did the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at home against a very determined Montreal Alouettes team. Was a little slighted in having to travel across the country to play the nemesis in Winnipeg, a team they had beat just previously 6 months in the Grey Cup. And Zach Collaros finds an easy completion to Dembski there. And I love this, you know. Why not settle the team down, move the chains, get some momentum going. I looked at the start there after that field goal, the 40-yard line. Ask any quarterback in the league, give me 40-yard line to start. I can smell the goal line. You know, it's good field position. Now he's right at midfield. And a nice little rhythm already.
Yeah, aimed, of course, to getting the offenses going. That's a 15-yard pickup by Drew Wolatarski, his first catch of this game. Johnny Augustine in at running back for the injured Brady Oliveira. Injured last week and had a difficult training camp with a knee injury. So here's a look at Winnipeg's offense to start things off.
Got to start up front because this is the calling card for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You lose two big ones in Gray and Hardrick, and you fill them with Lofton, Dobson. Not too bad replacements right there. They'll be under the gun all season long to produce. You got Lawler on the ball game, broken wrist or arm, and now Wheatfall. They talk high praise comes from this kid. Tall receiver, makes some crazy catches. They like what they see in that young man, number 88. We'll see tonight.
Goes out wide to the left in the 2nd and 5 with time. And it's high and it's deflected, and the last to touch it was Money Hunter. It hits the turf. It's incomplete. The ball at the RedBlacks 50, and it's 3rd down Winnipeg.
Yeah, right here. And Zach, just a little high, you know, a little pressure, I think, in his lap. Good break on the ball. Ball's high, and then he can't pull it down. And 2nd and 5, you know that Zach Collaros is as accurate as any quarterback in the league. Maybe a little nerves there early.
So the Aussie Jamison Sheehan is in for his first punt of this game. Devontae Dedmon, one of 2 back for the RedBlacks. As Sheehan sends it his way. Placed down right at the 10. Well-placed punt by Sheehan as Dedmon had nowhere to go. Good coverage.
He's jacked up too, Rod. He's running down there. Just love it.
They sure are. And nowhere to run there for Dedmon. So Drew Brown coming back on now. Good first possession for Ottawa's offense as they drove down in a short field goal for Lewis Ward. So Drew Brown, 9 touchdown passes, none intercepted last year, backing up Zach Collaros, and that included a big comeback in Edmonton. After Collaros got hurt, they were down 22 against the Elks, came back and won that game. Ottawa starting after 11. Brown settles in. Off to the left, it's caught. Open receiver, and that's Jalen Ackland with his first catch of 2024.
Yeah, Jalen just runs a beautiful route, and this is a well-timed throw. Top of the screen right here. Watch Jalen do his thing. Kind of an off year last year, but you can understand he's playing with a rookie quarterback. He's playing with another one here, basically. What's the word for that? groomed in Winnipeg for 3 years, and coming here and throwing balls on timing. And I know Ackland's looking to establish a rapport with that young quarterback.
Tutored, groomed, got all right.
I might have said tutored.
Breaking through is Armstead. In a pile, it looked like he'd be down. And Raquel Armstead, new Red Black, at his biggest carry, a pickup of 31 for Raquel Armstead.
Yeah, so fitting that Henry Burris is honored here tonight. And where did Raquel go to school? Temple.
Temple Owls.
That's right, just where Henry went, and we wrote the record books there, and he just keeps the legs churning. As Alexander, he's usually tough as nails, and bringing a hammer, kind of ducks his head, and they call him the Rock, and he looked like a rock right there as the Rock breaks loose, and down the sidelines he goes. He gets enough and gets out of bounds.
Across midfield on that first down, and a toss this time to Armstead. And not much there coming. It is Adam Bighill, one of the great tacklers in the history of the Canadian Football League, and making sure Armstead doesn't break free that time.
A lot of doubters there probably, you know, and Adam let that fuel him in the offseason. He's probably bent because he couldn't play last week. And it looks like he's taking his frustration out on the running back here, because he scraped with them and came in there like a heat-seeking missile, just with bad intentions. And nice tackle.
Ottawa was set at running back with Devontae Williams, went over for 1,000 last year, but suffered a torn Achilles back in mid-April. So he's out long-term. Opportunity for Armstead now. 2nd and 11 after that loss. Pressure coming. Devin Adams in after the injury to Celestin Haba. Rotates in, and he gets some heat on, and a big sack for Winnipeg.
Yeah. No Haba, no problem right here. 2-point stance. Just kind of comes up underneath. Yes, sir, unabated, basically. Desjardins couldn't get a hand on him and basically turnstiled him. And Drew says, well, that's not good. It didn't happen in Winnipeg very often.
Miles Mitchell be back. Richie Leone standing back at his 30 for his first punt of the season. As the new returner for Winnipeg, Mitchell takes it inside the 20. Breaking out to the right, but he can't. RedBlacks have it all covered up after a punt of 48 yards. Devin Adams, new to the Bombers, one of the newcomers. Peru State College, his rookie year and his first CFL sack. Running back Johnny Augustine, 6th year out of Guelph, and getting the chance to start with the injury to Brady Oliveira.
Yeah, just looking for some touches. You know, we know this guy can do it. He averages, you see it right there, 5.8 yards a carry. I think he's been outstanding. He's been waiting his turn, and now he's got his opportunity staring him right in the face. University of Guelph product just chomping at the bit to take the reins and make the injury to Brady Oliveira seem like a thing in the past.
Augustine scored Winnipeg's only touchdown against the Alouettes last week in their opener, late in the game, faking to him. Glaris gets a little bit of help as he rolls out, throws it deep too. He wants Carrick Wheatfall, who Matt talked about. DeAndre Lamont is with him. An explosive receiver. They really like him, and he is standing in for Kenny Lawler after he got hurt last week.
Yeah, they talk about him in practice, making all kinds of catches, but it's different out here. I mean, he's got all the intangibles and the measurables that you look for, just now coming out here and bringing it all together. So, a lot of hope for number 1 there in your picture, number 88 on the field in the Bomber uniform, and he's got some big shoes to fill, as does Johnny Augustine.
So 2nd and down, 2nd and 10 now, and off to the right, it's caught. Oh, no, it's not. I think Drew Wolotarski thought he had it. He went to turn and get that first down, and instead it falls to the turf.
It's one of those situations, Rod, where guys are trying too hard. And, you know, we've seen this in week 1, quite a few drops around the league. But this is, you got to do the routine things routinely. And that's catch the ball, as Milt would say, with your eyes, and then go do your business. And there you see him not looking all the way in. And that's a routine play he's got to make routinely. And then you make the tough ones look routine.
First thing I thought of, too, speaking of Bomber receivers, the great Milt Stegall, he used to say that.
Well, you know, just...
How do you catch a ball?
Yeah, I mean, Milt's got so much knowledge about that position, and, you know, it's pretty simple when it comes down to basics. You didn't see him there.
Wolatarski just wanted to turn it up. He had some space ahead. So a little rain starting to fall here at TD Place. In the hands of Devontae Dedmon. Oh, here he goes. Just tiptoeing down the sideline. He cuts it back into space. And Devontae Dedmon, the 2024 edition, has a big return to set up the Red Blacks in the Bomber zone. Dedmon, he had a preseason return touchdown. Another one called back. That's a 48-yarder for the Red Blacks, who have the lead. Zach Collaros, famous for playing the game and occasionally watching it too. Let's go down to Claire Hanna.
Thanks very much, Rod. Well, this offseason, Zach Collaros got a lot of attention for a football game that he was at, but he wasn't even playing in it. Now, Collaros knows Travis and Jason Kelsey all too well because they were not only teammates but roommates together at the University of Cincinnati. Well, Collaros went to support Travis in the NFL playoffs, and he got quite the welcome to New York because he was sitting in a suite with none other than Taylor Swift. But what shocked Collaros the most was that this game was featuring Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but the 15 rows in front of their box couldn't stop staring at the Grammy winner. Some were even crawling over their seats and stands to try to meet Swift. Now, Collaros isn't going to reveal anything about his buddy's girlfriend, but said she was very kind and engaging towards everybody in the suite. Guys.
Wow. I remember watching that, Claire, and I can tell you, I'm screaming I'm going, what the hell? Look at Zach. You know, like, and look at the guy without a shirt. Oh, wait a minute. That's Travis's brother.
There was a horse collar tackle penalty that's moved Ottawa inside the Winnipeg 15 now. So penalties helping the Red Blacks out too. Armstead, the big run, previous drive at 31. Well, Claire, she's a self-confessed Swiftie herself. This is Claire. Recently, you didn't know we were going to do this, did you, Claire? In Lisbon.
What are you doing?
There you are at a Taylor Swift concert, and I bet you enjoyed yourself.
Loved it. I loved it, you guys. She's the best, okay?
Still recuperating, I understand, Claire.
The voice.
You're obviously not alone in that assessment, too, of Taylor Swift.
So much for your weather predictions, too, Claire, and your hopefulness.
Oh, yeah, it's starting to pour, and Claire's got to find a way to stay dry. Get that umbrella up. 2nd and 3, Winnipeg 7. Ottawa in business again, and it's Armstead. That time, not much. He gets down to about the 5, so we get another.
Short.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be short. An interesting decision coming up for Bob Dice, assuming that's the case.
You know, if they can go for this, pick it up, a touchdown would be immense for this football team to put Winnipeg down 10 as opposed to 6-0.
Matty, you well know, one of the problems with the Red Blacks, among many the last couple of years, was picking up field goals when they could have had touchdowns.
That's why I bring it up, because, you know, Red Black fans are a little tired of watching Lewis Ward do his thing. And granted, he does it as well as anybody, but, well, you'd like to have 6 as opposed to 3.
That's a long 1 yard, too. That's one and maybe a foot more than that. Yeah.
From the gun.
Yeah, and from the gun they go here. From the Winnipeg 5, 3rd down. Handing off. First down. They run it. They get the first down. It'll be 1st and goal, and it's Raquel Armstead having a busy introduction to the Ottawa Red Blacks.
That's impressive. You got Boyd, Desjardins, Hogan Sandin, Sandid, Bladdock, and Bull from the gun. And the 6'1", 225-pound back just gets a head of steam going and says, yeah, bring it. And he trucks a few people. The Rock is doing his thing. Boy, Bobby loves that.
And Dustin Crum is in now. Short yardage quarterback this year. The backup, Crum, gets a little bit closer. Still no signal. Not in. It'll be 2nd down coming up at the 1.
Yeah, so they go from the gun. They spread them out, take the regular splits, and now they get closer to the goal line. They go soul to soul, heel to heel, and they bunch everybody up in the middle. And it's tough sledding for Crum doing his thing down there. And remember, if you're not here, I'm telling you, it's pretty wet down there right now, and that ball security is going to be paramount right here.
Dustin Crum started the majority of games at quarterback for the Red Blacks last year, even though he started the season number 4 in the depth. He had 9 rushing touchdowns, including a big one in overtime to beat Winnipeg in the big comeback, or Crumback, if you will. Here he is, 2nd and goal. Touchdown, Ottawa Red Blacks. Drew Brown drove him down. Crum finishes it off, and a much-needed major score for the Ottawa RedBlacks.
It wasn't much of a drive. It was aided by a horse collar on the return by Dedman, which was 48 yards, and then a pickup on short yardage after a completion, and then bang. Second time's a charm, going over the left side. Desjardins and Boyd. Looks like that's where Crum and company think the weakness is, and they attacked it twice in a row, finding pay dirt on the second time around.
Dustin Crum in his second year out of Kent State. And so Lewis Ward is on. He said there were many times, as he puts that through, many times in the previous couple of years where Ottawa, and as you say, that one abated by a big return and penalty, but would get close and not get the touchdown. This time they do.
Yeah, just who wants it the most here. Get lower, root him out. You see Biggie getting there a little bit late. Crum back had already had a little momentum. There's the ISO on Biggie, just chomping at the bit to lay wood on somebody, and Dustin Crum had already done the damage, and Drew Brown celebrating, knowing how big that touchdown is. Really, you just can't afford to score threes when you get that field position. Your top-notch returner, Dedman, takes it back 48. You get 15 added onto that. Look, at the end of the day, that needed to happen, and it did for the RedBlacks, and the crowd here loves it.
A 5-play, 27-yard drive in just over 3 minutes. And Ottawa with a 2-score lead now on the defending 4-time West Division champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers. As Michael Chris Ike, the rookie, will be back for the return along with Myron Mitchell. And the kick here, Richie Leone. And that comes to Mitchell at the 20. Still on his feet. Eventually they get him. No further than the 25. Well, I talked, Matty, about Dustin Crum, and it was his first CFL start last July. They trailed by 16 points late in the game. Cue the comeback by Crum.
Yeah, Bahar, a little push out, not called. Big play, big time play. And then this run, just running over people, won't be denied. Overtime, pulls it down again. Red Sea parts in the middle, and Crum says, I'll take that. Just incredible comeback. And Bobby Dice, I think it was incredible he didn't pull a hamstring in the celebration.
Yeah, they won the next week in overtime in Calgary. That was a high point for their season. They only won 4 games all year, but they won't forget that.
You see Kerry Joseph there? Just shout out to Kerry. He's going in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame this year. Yeah.
And he was the one in terms of Ottawa football history who had spearheaded the biggest comeback, but they won't forget that one that Crum led down by 16 points, needing 2 touchdowns.
So look at all 3 quarterbacks there.
2 2-point conversions.
That's the Crumback kid right there. That's the new guy Brown, and that's
Jake Dunaway.
Yeah, Dunaway. I mean, this guy, all he's ever done, the 13 guy, you don't even know who he is. He's won at every level. Just been incredible. So they got some young talent, Red Black QBs. Got some hope here going on in the first quarter.
It's a 2nd and 7 for Winnipeg for their 30. Colares off to the left. It is caught. No, it's not. Dropped again. Ontario Wilson, new receiver for the Bombers, had it in there but couldn't hang on. So quickly a 2-and-out for the Bombers. 3rd and 7 coming up.
Yeah, Zach really gets through this throw nicely, puts a lot of zip on it. He's going to his left, our right, as you watch as he sees him, then bam, ball's out on the money. I think that was more the defender there. I think that was Lamont. Yeah, he got in there, stripped the ball. It's a good defensive play. Bang, bang play. Got the hands in there. Wet ball comes out.
Jamison Sheehan. Dedman running in at the big return last time. Takes it on the run. Gets it up at midfield. A flag out. But Drew Brown, first game as Red Black QB, and here's the confidence his head coach Bob Dice has in him.
He's a football 24/7 type guy, and because he puts that much in, he expects the same of his teammates, and guys realize that, and guys feed off that. So he's endeared himself in the teammates, and with his play as well. His handling of the playbook. I know in the off season, talking to Coach Condell had almost had to get him to back off a little bit so he could have some free time, and but that's how much it means to Drew.
getting the opportunity and learned a lot from Zach Collaros from his years in Winnipeg as well.
Yeah, no question. You got Buck Pierce in that quarterback room there in Winnipeg. You learned that from 3 years from there. You come into Tommy Condell, and you talk to Coach Bobby Dice. You heard him talk about his quarterback. He talks about his offensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, Tommy Condell, and says he's a great communicator. So you got a guy that lives there and breathes it, and you got a coach that can communicate the way Tommy does, and good things are going to happen.
And who had worked with Tommy Condell early in his career with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Right.
When he'd been filling in for Ricky Ray and got his shot back in 2014, 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's, there's a lot of overlap, and the trees kind of intertwined here in the Canadian Football League, and you have influences in many different ways, and that's a perfect example.
They initially had called no yards. They took a review and decided it wasn't no yards. So right at midfield, the RedBlacks with a 10-point lead. Back to work through Brown, and the heat is on. And Brown taken down for the second time in this game. Willie Jefferson is in there. A loss of 10 yards.
Yeah, I think Willie's just going to a little stunt here. You don't want to play the hole man. You want to get angles. And it's one of those things where this is the second time we see Drew Brown get a little heat in the kitchen, and going to have to see that do a better job up front. And Willie's just going to, I think he's going to fold back inside here and watch him do his thing. He's hotting around the outside.
And that is quarter time. Kyrie Wilson in there with Willie Jefferson too. So good play by the Bomber D. But Winnipeg is down in this season opener for the RedBlacks, who lead at 10-0 for the first 15. New York Fries Thursday Night Football. Look at the first quarter stats. It certainly jumps out time of possession. The RedBlacks had the ball more than 2/3 of that first quarter, Matty.
Yeah, and I like what I see in Drew Brown, and he's been under pressure a couple times, sacked, but he's been a beneficiary of good field position, and I like a second down. He's going a little long count, and Drew Winnipeg offsides, got them a couple freebies there. Winnipeg has shot themselves in the foot a couple of times with some bad penalties, and he's took full advantage of it. Got a big-time major down there from the gun, went to the young running back in Rock, and he got the first down, and then it was Dustin Crump from there. I like what I see with the RedBlacks. They can't afford to lean on Lewis Ward 24/7. They got to get the majors if they want to keep this Winnipeg Blue Bomber team guessing.
Making that third down gamble in close that much more significant, and leading to the Crumb touchdown and a 10-0 lead. Second quarter begins in a 2nd and 20. Flags coming out with the snap of the ball.
Procedure, Ottawa, number 65. It's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 2nd down.
Darius Bladek, the right guard, a newcomer and one of the free agents signing on with Ottawa. That pushes them 5 more back, 2nd and 25.
Yeah, just had Kyrie Wilson just come right through his gap a while ago, get to his quarterback. And yeah, it's one of those things where you get a little itchy down there, right? You want to get a little jump start, even though you got a neutral zone of a yard there. These guys still know what they're dealing with. Athletes on the other side coming from all directions. 2nd
and 25, 4-man rush from the Ottawa 40. It is complete. Justin Hardy, nice move to cut back on Suleiman Karamoko. Great move, Hardy, as he got it a little bit closer on a 2nd down and very long. It is still a punting, punting situation coming up. They're about 2 yards shy.
He's still going to enjoy it. I blew an ACL watching that from up here. What? I mean, he just gave it to him and took it away. Whoop! Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's like a crossover in basketball. The Celtics are dominating the Mavs right now. It's just crazy to watch. Yeah, but good on Winnipeg, knowing the sticks. They rallied to the football and forced Leone to do his thing.
The 3rd and 13, actually, yeah, 3rd and 13 still coming up, so not even close for Hardy. And Dietrich Nichols, for Mike O'Shea, a concern that another starting defensive player has an injury concern right now. Dietrich Nichols earlier, O'Shea losing Celestin Haba, starting defensive end.
Yeah.
So
already got a couple of young, wet behind the ear corners out there in Bonds and Tyrell Ford. And there's a guy with 4 years of experience from South Florida, a guy that you can rely on week in, week out. You got Holmes and Alexander, your 2 veterans now in the back end for Winnipeg.
Richie Leone to punt. Myron Mitchell back for it. Just inside the 20, takes it off the hop. Nowhere to go. The door is closed for Mitchell as he barely gets it up close to the 25. So week 2 is starting tonight, and it continues tomorrow. In Edmonton, Cody Fajardo, big win for the defending Grey Cup champions last week in Winnipeg up against McLeod Bethel Thompson. Edmonton, for a while, looked in charge against Saskatchewan, but the Riders came back with a big victory. So the 1-0 Owls against the 0-1 Edmonton Elks. That's Friday Night Football, and that is tomorrow, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific time.
Turnovers cost the Elks last week, and boy, for about 5-6 minutes there in that fourth quarter, Saskatchewan said thank you very much. And down a bunch. Next thing you know, they're stealing one and taking one. Well, what a game Sean Payne had.
Claris, as you saw, is 2 for 6, throwing again to the right, and it's intercepted. A flag is out. It looked like it was in and out of the hands of Carrick Wheatfall, and then it is picked off by Ottawa.
Pass interference, Ottawa number 4. It's going to be first down for Winnipeg at the spot of the foul.
But Money Hunter is called for PI, so that negates the interception and a first down for Winnipeg.
Yeah, ball was a little bit underthrown as Wheatfall had gotten in behind Money Hunter, and then as Wheatfall went back to get it, Money Hunter made contact, and there's your call. And big interception by the RedBlacks is nullified by a little PI. So it's a good call, pretty easy call. You're going to watch the play on the ball, work hard back to it. He got there a little early. Pretty tight play, bang, bang, but enough to draw the...
Well,
and I think Bobby Dice thinks that there's enough there to challenge it, and why not? You know, that's a turnover there, good field position. I'd do the same thing.
big moment there with the challenge. It was Frankie Griffin coming back, making the interception. So Bob Dice does not think that was interference on Money Hunter. And if he's right, if he wins this challenge, then Ottawa with the lead would take over. There's a live look at the command center.
We gave the Ottawa coach additional information, which means that he can withdraw his flag. So there's no challenge flag, first down for Winnipeg.
I want to know that additional information.
Yeah.
And I think we need to know. But, yeah, I mean, I think that was a good challenge. I think it was a pretty close play there. Bang, bang, when the ball's a little underthrown. I really think that the young receiver, Wheatball, did a nice job of coming back to it, too.
I want to know how the command center feels, because they were about to go to work. All fired up, ready to... What's that?
I think they gave the official on the field the information. He gave that to Bobby and Dice, and he picked it up. Oh, here we go.
It's knocked at the line. It's picked off. Darius Pickett. So pressure, hands up at the line of scrimmage, and Pickett, new to the RedBlacks in his first game with Ottawa, and he has an interception.
Now Bobby's chirping the official even more on the sidelines. We got it anyway.
So an interception that was denied by penalty, and this time Zach Collaros with hands up knocks the ball up, and a Darius Pickett.
At first, if you don't succeed, try again. Michael Wakefield, 7-year player from Florida Atlantic, comes inside here, gets his hands up. Zach Collaros, ball is tipped, and then it's a Darius Pickett. One of the new team captains, big offseason acquisition, comes up with his 3rd interception of his career. The football god's ready to ship there.
Welcome to the party.
Darius Pickett with the Argos last year, Defensive Player of the Year with Montreal the year before that. And handing off Braylon Addison, another big carry. He had one in the first quarter. Not used to seeing him as a running back, but takes it out of the backfield and has another RedBlack first down, running the ball, a pickup of 19, close to the Winnipeg 30 at the 32-yard line.
Just coming across here and finding daylight and bouncing it, and he's untouched into the secondary. Bang, great read, presses the hole, bounces it, leaves him in his wake, stiff arm. He did that in high school, and it blows me away to have that kind of ability and then to bring it to the not the college level, but then the next level and still do it years later.
He goes back to the slot. Devontae Dedmon started in the backfield, swings out to the right, and they screen it to Ackland, who's going nowhere.
Yeah.
Winnipeg had that read nicely in a loss of a couple of yards.
You catch that little hitch screen out there, and you're coming inside, and you're looking for the big boys to come inside out and peel off anybody. But then you look up, and you got three of these big boys, Jake Thomas, coming down at you. It's like, oh, this is not going to end well.
And it didn't. Loss of a yard.
Yeah, it's, you know, when they work, they're great. But, boy, oftentimes you're catching a lot of heat.
Ottawa ball, Winnipeg zone, 10-point RedBlacks lead in their season opener, starting their 10th season against the team it all started against, Winnipeg. 2nd and 11. It's caught down at the 20. That's caught by Justin Hardy and a first down, Ottawa.
I don't know. I mean, he's all alone in the zone down there. He just finds the soft spot. Watch him just sit down, and as he turns around, bang. He just finds that soft zone. Ball's fed right in there, and they're cooking with gas again inside the red zone. Good field position, a couple of solid plays. Run by Addison, Hardy getting involved, and new defensive coordinator Joe Younger wants his team to vote in next.
Down to the 19, 1st and 10. Ottawa pressing for more. Little play fake.
Oh, nice feet.
And Brown steps out of the pocket, rolls to the right, and he wanted Hardy down inside the 5, and a flag has come out.
Yeah, a bunch of craps are going on down there by those offensive linemen when they miss their man, and then they just kind of hang on.
Ottawa number 65. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay first down.
Darius Bladick getting flagged again on that one for the hold.
Yeah, he's right here. Sorry, Darius. You know, when that happens, we got to do this. And nice little rip move by Thomas. And I thought it was great feet by Brown to find that little hole, keep his eyes downfield, and he missed his receiver. But Bladick, he's trying out there, man, against a veteran and Thomas, and good battle going on in the trenches.
So it's a 1st and 20 back at the Bomber 29, 2nd quarter, 10 minutes on the clock until halftime. Over the middle, Adam Bighill hits Jalen Ackland right away as soon as the ball arrives.
Yeah, read Drew Brown's mail that time. Says thank you very much. I'm gonna add to my tackle total, which is getting close to 900, which is crazy. But Ackland just running a little under route. Biggie tees him up, got him in his crosshairs, and Jalen on this series has been jacked up a couple times by Bombers.
Career tackle 893, says our great stats man, John Perlberg.
Getting close, Johnny, getting close.
7 tackles away for one of the legends of the game, Adam Bighill.
That's what Johnny does, man. Our guys are so good.
You bet. 2nd and 15. Bomber 24. Brown. Willie Jefferson can't get a hand on him. And Brown on the move and throws that one low for Dominic Rhymes, who's still looking for his first catch with the RedBlacks since coming back. Of course, he started his career with Ottawa.
Yeah, and a great move again by feet. Quarterbacks working this all the time in the offseason and their spare time, trying to work on this, keep their eyes downfield. Twice in a row, we've seen Drew Brown do this, buy some time, and then cross his body, a little unsure. He knows something in his brain says, I'm not supposed to be doing this, but he does it anyways, and he's probably kicking himself right there. Want to throw a pick down there, and oftentimes you throw across your body. That happens.
Ball spotted at the 31 for Richie Leone. Lewis Ward, who had a 12-yarder earlier, and he puts that one through. 3 more on the board. RedBlacks leading the Bombers in Game 1 on a Thursday night. A good start for Bob Dice's RedBlacks, who had the bye in Week 1. Let's go back to Claire.
Yeah, Rod, and you know what? For teams, it can be kind of strange starting the CFL season with a bye week, but Bob Dice told me it provided a huge opportunity for the RedBlacks to do some important team bonding. In fact, it was the players' idea to come here at TD Place and watch the Bombers take on Montreal in Week 1. They were hooting and hollering while that game was happening. Bob Dice also brought in a retired Canadian Armed Forces colonel who spoke to the group about resilience, how to deal with adversity, and then the best part, the entire team, including equipment and medical staff, went bowling. Players were mixed into different groups. Mike Domagala had the highest score, but apparently Dustin Crum, for a second year in a row, was near the top as kingpin. And Pickett said the Americans, they have a disadvantage because they have to play 5-pin bowling compared to 10 usually. But for all the players, important to build strong relationships amongst teammates. It's the stronger the team will be when that happens.
A little trickier too, Claire, when you're used to 10-pin bowling and then you got to deal with the little 5-pin ball.
You just want to overhand it and sling it down there as quarterback, and you got to do the same thing, same type of motion as a regular 10-pin ball with a bigger ball. But it's yeah, I was blown away when I first came up here because I'd never seen it before, and I guess they play a lot of it up here.
See, Chris Strebler is in there now. Collaros 2 for 7 on a good return by Mitchell to the 50, but we saw this with Strebler in, the backup quarterback in here now, the fake to him by Collaros, and he throws down and completes it too at the Red-Black 40 and a big first down, and that is the first CFL catch for the new receiver, Carrick Wheatfall, a gain of 21. Wheatfall in for Kenny Lawler.
I'm really surprised that Strevy didn't pull this down and take about 20 yards with his legs right here, but he spots a wide open Wheatfall, kind of underthrows it a bit. His receiver picks him up, and nice game. Big time return to start that drive. And then we see Strebler, as you mentioned, now Collaros back in the ball game.
We'll see both of them in these plays, faking to Augustine. Nick Dembski. And Dembski on the carry afterwards, his first catch in this game. And Mike O'Shea in his 10th season with Winnipeg, and of course you expect nothing but excellence out of the Bombers. A lot of the veterans didn't get much action in training camp or in the preseason games, with a regular season game, Matty, to start 6 days later, so they rested, including Zach Collaros, who didn't get a rep in
the video official has corrected the spot. The ball be placed at the 37.5-yard line, second down.
But we're not used to seeing Winnipeg. You combine what we've seen so far tonight, and yes, they've had some big injuries, but the way it looked against the Alouettes as well.
Yeah, and you go back, that's 2 losses in a row, and through a quarter and a half here, sputtering a little bit.
2nd and 8, Ottawa 37. Collaros trying to get things going. Under pressure, throws it away. Caught there at the Red-Black sideline, but yeah, it's been a rough start to the season. We can safely say so far for Zach Collaros. #1 player in the game as voted, and 2-time MOP Baron Miles. And that defense for the Red-Blacks causing some problems for Winnipeg so far.
Zach Collaros now 4-10, 41 yards and a pick, and really hadn't figured it out. Baron Miles reading Buck Pearson's playbook right now.
Sergio Castillo was 1 for 3 last week. He's the only kicker that was forced to have a microchip in the ball. They changed the ruling after that game last week, so no microchip used for stats. Not in this ball, as Castillo would be happy about that. As he sends this one off, and he is good in his first field goal try, 45 yards away. The Bombers get on the board. Red Black still leading it. Second quarter. All season long, the Red Blacks are celebrating their 10th anniversary. What better way to start? Henry Burris greeting the mayor, Mark Sutcliffe. It's Henry Burris Day today. Of course, they'll never forget him as the quarterback of the team that won the Grey Cup in 2016. Fond memories for Hank in Ottawa.
Yeah, and he's down there celebrating with Armand. He's got Nicole's down there, and yeah, he's
and Barron too.
And Barron.
Dominic Rhymes has his first catch back in Ottawa, and good yardage after the carry up near midfield.
Yeah, and you speak to Drew Brown about this guy right here, Dominic Rhymes. He said, "I've never had a receiver like Dominic Rhymes to throw to." And that's saying a lot, because you know he's had some tremendous ones. And Dominic Rhymes has got his quarterback's attention and finally hooking up on that play.
His breakout season was 2019 with Ottawa, over 1,000 yards. His best season, 2022 with BC, over 1,400 yards, second in the CFL. Rye Marquel Armstead, the catch and the run, and just inside Bomber territory. Well, mentioning the ceremony for Henry, but all season long, Matty, this is what Ottawa has planned to celebrate the 10th anniversary season. June 30th against Hamilton, big rec performance and fireworks.
Yeah,
the
fireworks, I'm a big into
yeah, absolutely. The all-decade team and key alumni returning.
That's going to be crazy.
And Family Day in the 7th against the Argos, and then our Nation game, a tribute to the fans against the Ticats.
Which we've been here many times in some lean times, but those fans continue to show up, and what a great experience here at TD Place.
Well, you consider the way this franchise started 10 years ago, just 2 wins, but there was promise. And that one, Addison is hit. Cramdy coming in. But I was going to say with the RedBlacks, they went to the Grey Cup in years 2 and 3 with Henry, won it in 16. But it's the last 4 years, Matty, since 2018 when they last went to the Grey Cup, and just 14 wins over the 4 years.
Yeah, and on this play here, it looks like Cramdy, he was going to go for a pick, and he said, no, I'm just going to go for the hit. And, boy, it's a good thing he got his helmet down, his shoulder in there, because Braylon Addison was wide open for a vicious hit.
Myron Mitchell is back. Winnipeg coming off a field goal in their first points of the game. Getting the ball back now. A flag does come out. It's like for no yards as he is going backwards now. Peter Adji, the long snapper, coming in on that tackle. Myron Mitchell, the new returner in Winnipeg, of course, after they had Janarian Grant for so many years, and he left and signed on with the Argos as a free agent.
I'm just going to say this, and I know how it works, but how do you let that guy go? Right? And then Toronto gets rid of Javon Leake, and who do they pick up? Janarian Grant. It's like, whoo, big time offseason moves.
While the ball was in the air, illegal interference, Ottawa number 20 will apply the 10-yard penalty from where the ball was caught. It's going to be first down for Winnipeg.
So this time a penalty working in the Bombers' favor, but Zach Collaros still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass this season. Incredible to say that. I know we're only in game 2, but look at the difference, Matty. Most touchdown passes since 2021, not even close. He has 90. Next best, Vernon Adams Jr. with 54.
Yeah, that's a lot. I think that's plus 36 right there. I think I put 46. A little slow in the uptake.
That's okay. That's okay.
I think last series I called Collaros Strepler too. So yeah, I've thrown a couple picks here in the first half of this ball game.
Nobody's counting them. We're just getting going here. Johnny Augustine trying to get things going for that Bomber offense, and his carry, and as mentioned, he's getting the start because of the injury to Brady Oliveira.
I mean, they really hadn't been running the football much at all.
No. Trying to get the passing game going, but yes, big absences in the running game with Oliveira out, the leading rusher last year, and Kenny Lawler, the big play capability of him.
And let's not forget Gray and left guard and Hardrick at right tackle. I mean, they're still making some adjustments on front with Dobson and certainly Lofton. Good replacements, but this team is still looking to gel.
Bombers have made a lot of changes. 2nd and 7, Winnipeg 28. Deep look, Collaros. Down for Dembski, he has it. Alonzo Adai takes him down, but the biggest play of the game easily for Winnipeg's offense, Collaros to Dembski, and flipping the field in a hurry as they get it down to the RedBlack 35.
Even with the hashes moved in from 17 to 9, this is still a very long throw, but you can't get any more accurate than this. Drops it in a hole with Pickett underneath and Adai over the top, and Dembski just was on his horse flying, and Zach Collaros hit him in stride. No room for error there.
Gain of 46 yards, Winnipeg on the move in the red-black zone, trailing by 10. Second quarter, play fake, off to the right, caught by Dalton Schoen. There's a name we haven't heard in a little while, certainly not tonight, as Schoen has his first catch as he takes it out of bounds.
36 games in a row now, every game for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers during the regular season. He's been able to catch a football, and that's his first here, and relatively simple. You got Bryce Carter in your face, which is not easy, and he feathers it out there at 83, and he does the rest.
Gain of 9, Chris Strebler coming in, this time at quarterback. Short yardage. Saw that a lot as they get him assembled back into the Winnipeg offense. Strebler, a former starter with the Bombers at quarterback, and worked so well in 2019 with Collaros, that quarterback tandem, and known for his running as he has to push it Had to get it right to the 25. It looks like he has.
2018, he had a really nice year. In 2019, it was a bit of a struggle for him. That's why they had to go out and get Zach. And but he was such a talented young man. He got an opportunity down south, and I know that all Canadian Football League fans, including the Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans, are excited about having 17 back in the mix. Picks up a first down there for his Blue Bombers. Love his enthusiasm, his athletic ability, his willingness to put himself aside from team objectives and just get the job done.
Once Collaros arrived late in 2019, Paul Lapalisse, then the offensive coordinator, a lot of people thought, and Buck Pierce looking to carry that on now, did a masterful job of using them both, including in the Grey Cup, when Strebler actually threw a touchdown pass. Now the 3-minute warning. 3 minutes exactly until halftime. Ottawa's ruled to have for the most part, but here comes Winnipeg. It's a 10-point game.
Big halftime coming up. Milt and Davis give a lot of love to Ottawa. Enoch tells you what Winnipeg needs to continue to do, and we go back to social media to see who is the best dressed on the panel. It's not Enoch.
Wow.
Wow.
You have to drop that.
Thank you, Kate. First and 10 at the Ottawa 25 as Winnipeg is pressing, trying to get a touchdown before halftime. Collaros dumps it on. Johnny Augustine down to the 10, and he keeps going too as he picks up a first down. It'll be a 1st and goal for the Bombers.
Zach Collaros just tees up the defense here with his eyes and patience, looking hard left, hard left, hard left. You see Augustine released to the flat. Zach knows he's got a big chunk of change in front of him right there, dumps it to 270. He doesn't go out of bounds. He dips his shoulder, grabs about 4 more. Love that.
This is as deep as the Bombers have gotten in this game. Chance to get right back in at 1st and goal at the Ottawa 8. It's taken a while for the Winnipeg offense to get in sync with Collaros. They're all looking sharper now as he looks to the end zone. Deep into the end zone. For Dembski, no. Alonzo Adai in on the coverage there. We wanted to show a lot of love to our host of the CFL on TSN. Kate Burness recently awarded Best Sports Host at the 2024 Canadian Screen Awards. So richly deserved, my friend, from all of us. Congratulations to you for that honor. And great to have you back, too, for another season in the CFL.
And that look and that smile, it's the way she is 24/7 when she comes to work, man. She's nothing but a breath of fresh air and sunshine. And God knows we need some sunshine in that with that panel that we have.
Right? You know, specifically, it was for Touchdown Atlantic last year, that event and that award. And pressure and a flag comes out. There was a hand briefly on the face mask of Zach Collaros by one of the Ottawa RedBlacks as he was facing heat. So this one could be going against Ottawa here.
Let them sort it out there, knocking at the door. You need that 7 here to draw within 3. The RedBlacks who have dominated here in the first half.
Flag came out just as a hand had glanced on the face mask of Collaros. We saw a similar penalty, by the way, last week, Winnipeg and Montreal, on Brandon Alexander and Cody Fajardo.
Yeah, Fajardo running his right. Brandon in hot pursuit just slid his hand across the top of the face mask. The officials call it. Be interesting to see what they see here.
Still awaiting word if that is indeed the penalty.
Neufeld right there. 6'6", 335 pounds of Saskatchewan.
There's 2 penalties on the play. Holding, 53 Winnipeg. Roughing the passer, face mask, 96 Ottawa. We'll go up half the distance to the previous line of scrimmage. Automatic first down for Winnipeg.
Yeah, take a look at this here. Pretty easy. Unintentional. Wakefield, I think it is, just trying to get his hand in there and goes to the wrong spot. Patty just pancaking him too.
Well, it's all in the same play with Neufeld on Wakefield as Neufeld was holding, and Wakefield got the hand up. So it works out well for Winnipeg. They get it down inside the 5. It is a first and goal for the Bombers. The Ottawa 4. Augustine, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Winnipeg. And the Bombers right back in this game, driving down the field late in the first half after doing so little offensively for the earlier parts of this game.
Johnny Augustine showing you that he's really hungry for the end zone. Only found it twice in his 6-year career on the ground, and here this extra effort and push by the offensive line, and relatively easy. Great effort, and good on Augustine and the Bombers to fight back here on the road, looking for some mojo. Not much of it in the first half, but took advantage of a penalty there and punched it in.
Johnny Augustine with his 2nd touchdown of the season. He had Winnipeg's only TD late in the game last week. So 2 games, 2 TDs for Augustine, and the point after by Sergio Castillo. So what was a 13-point lead is down to a 3-point lead for the RedBlacks with 2:16 to go in the clock until halftime.
And me up here in the booth, you know, I'm just thinking, uh-oh. You know, you woke up a sleeping giant. You know, that throw to Dembski, the deep corner, he was just on his horse. And it was just incredible. And the throw by Calero set the tone for that drive. And then the cap, it was 6 there. Dembski is just flying. You got pick and pursuit, the die over the top. Zach just launching it from the opposite hash. Drops it in the bucket. Started that mojo. Way to go, Nick.
There's the real hero.
No, don't do that. Okay, spreading the love. That's why this team's successful, been in the last 4 Grey Cups, because it's not about them, it's about the team. Love that attitude.
That was a 46-yard gain by Dembski, and he's right. It did lead to an Augustine touchdown. Is filling in for Brady Oliveira. So Dembski, a couple of catches in this game. 13-10 Ottawa. So Drew Brown and the RedBlacks getting the ball back. Devontae Dedman cuts it back inside, and he is taken down inside the 35. So Drew Brown, one thing that's been a trademark, Matty, over his football career, pro and college, is throws a lot more touchdowns than he does interceptions. If you look at those numbers, the ratio very favorable, including his time in Winnipeg. He had 9 touchdown passes, none picked, coming off the bench for Zach Collaros last year.
And it's the RedBlacks, quite frankly, can't afford turnovers. That's what costs them in football games. And
that, as you saw in red.
That's why he's going to be a good fit here.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a big problem. Too many picks thrown from the 34. Flags out. Hardy with the ball. And Evan Holm sending him out of bounds after a first down. We'll wait and see what this flag is about.
That's a straight-up dart from number 3 right there. Very accurate, long throw, just railed it right out there.
Illegal contact on the receiver. Winnipeg, number 37. The penalty is declined. It's going to be first down.
As Mike O'Shea discusses, it was a gain of 17. Brandon Alexander was flagged for that, but the completion to Hardy does stand up, and a first down for Ottawa.
Yeah, you just don't know how long of a throw that is, how quickly that ball got there. And Hardy, the recipient of good timing. Not the prettiest, but where the ball was heaved out there and stuck it on the number 2. Love what I'm seeing for number 3.
Up to the RedBlacks 51. On the first down, it is caught. And the rookie, Nick Mardner, who was drafted 2nd overall in the draft, has his first CFL catch. Mardner, most recently at Auburn. Cincinnati before that.
Right. Sticking with the Cincinnati's theme was Zach Collaros and Kelsey. You know, Mardner picking up the slack here. Tall receiver. A lot of high hopes with this guy. Found him on that play. Going right, going left. Young quarterback showing us that he's got what it takes to take advantage of this wide field.
In the Bomber zone, it's a 2nd and very short here. Out of shotgun, running again. We saw this before, that big 3rd down earlier in the first quarter. And once again, it is Raquel Armstead. He picks up 6 yards and a lot more than needed for the first down as the sticks move again.
Yeah, Coach Bobby Dice says, I just simply call him Rock. He's coming right downhill up here. and he cuts it and straight and gets low and gets what he can. And yeah, the Rock playing the hammer.
Back to him, Armstead again.
6'1", 225. Got good feet. You saw him hunting and pecking there, but still moving forward with speed. And yeah, the RedBlacks putting a nice drive together, response drive here late in the first half.
And he gains 9 more. And again, that was one of the question marks with this offense, with all the changes they made because of the injury to Devontae Williams. Yeah. Who's going to run the ball?
Devontae really had a nice year last year. Went over 1,000 yards, really kind of coming into his own. They had that unfortunate injury late.
Armstead again, down to the 30, and inside as the pile continues to move. That was on a 2nd and 1. So another first down. Impressive response by Ottawa late in the first half. 1:04 to go after 10 unanswered points by Winnipeg to get back into this football game.
Yeah, got to. And it'll be nice for them to go in a half, 20-10, at least 16-10. But this is a great response drive, as you mentioned, Rod. And good on this young back getting it done there. Giving some hope going into half.
Running the football, of course, taking some pressure off the new quarterback, too, if they can do that. The Winnipeg 28. Drew Brown to throw. Has time. Off to the left. It's Martner. And a flag does come out back in the red-black backfield. Will this be coming back?
Yeah, I think it's coming back, Rod, unfortunately.
Legal block, hands to the face. Yeah. Ottawa number 59. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay first down.
Doesn't destroy this drive, but the center right here. And, you know, he's trying. He didn't want to put his hands in the face, but when he got this coming at you, wow, just that initial left-hand punch. Got him.
Sean Burke, the general manager of the Ottawa RedBlacks, looking on there, and what he thought might have been Martner's.
He's not impressed with that.
Not impressed at all. What looked like Martner's second career catch, and instead it's negated by that penalty on the Ottawa center. So pushes them back to a 1st and 20. Winnipeg 38. With seconds to go until halftime. With time, good protection, and looking for Acklin, and Retta Cramby was right with him to make sure that that is broken up. 2nd down coming up.
Yeah, and this is a tight window. It's closing fast because Cramby is undercutting everything here. It's a good look at it. It's coming in late, passes him off. Cramby center field turns there, gets underneath. Really nice job of getting his hand in the mix. And watch to the field. This receiver right here is wide open, and young quarterback's got his eyes to the left. And he misses an opportunity. It happens.
Passing off to the right. That is complete. And that's Rhymes again. And just getting a little bit closer for Lewis Ward. He'll come on now and attempt another field goal. He's 2 for 2. And to see if he can make it a 6-point lead at halftime. 29 seconds to go.
Those are the ones that drive you crazy right there. You know, you get a crazy hands to the face, left hand up underneath the face mask, and Jake Thomas. And then you miss a guy. Nice play by the defense. Credit Winnipeg for getting the job done there, forcing the field goal here. I think he can let Winnipeg hang around, scoring bunches, get some momentum going. See if Lewis can't stop the bleeding here.
This will be a 34-yard try. Lewis Ward, who remains perfect on the night. 3 more points, Ottawa, and a 6-point lead. 5 seconds to go until halftime. And you know where we're going. Back to Kate Burness, Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall as well. Yeah, the band is back together with Kate running the show. And we'll hear from them at halftime. And I understand that whatever New York fries that Kate and Milt can't eat, they're going to save them for us. It might be a little bit
Kate's
cold.
Looking for some fries. I think she was shut out. I don't think there's any fries there. Hello?
She was later getting the news about New York fries and sponsoring Thursday Night Football.
Thanks for stepping up.
So 5 seconds to go. Interesting first half because it had been all Ottawa. But Winnipeg really showed signs of life in the second quarter in their previous drive, and then back came Ottawa to drive for a field goal. So
yeah, Rod Zach finished 7 of 14 for 114 yards. Kind of bounced back towards the end of that second quarter. because it wasn't going well for the Bombers offense, but he found his way with that deep throw to Dembski. And nice hustle by Johnny Augustine in a couple plays and found the end zone.
And Drew Brown went 12 of 18 for 135. And also interesting plays using Braylon Addison, Matty. We wondered what they'd do at running back. And early on, he busted off a couple of big runs and also had a big catch.
Yeah, you know, and Braylon has been fighting the injury bug, you know, for quite some time. And so good to see him get the job done in so many different ways.
And here he is now with Claire Hanna.
Braylon, you guys got out to a commanding 13-0 lead. I know things have tightened up a bit, but where did the explosion come from on offense?
Just practice all week, working on it since training camp. You know, we had the extra week for the bye week, but, you know, we knew it was going to be a tight fight. These guys been in a Grey Cup the last 4 years, so, you know, it's nothing we're not expecting. We're ready for a fight.
What do you think of your new quarterback, Drew Brown, so far?
He's a competitor. He wants to win. You know, I think people saw in the preseason, you know, the answer he had at halftime. He expects greatness. He expects maximum effort. So, you know, we're just trying to match his energy, and we go as he goes.
Braylon, thank you.
Thank you.
Addison with a huge first half, 61 yards as RedBlacks currently leading at 16-10 as we welcome you back inside the CFL on TSN studios. Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel, and we've got ourselves a very nice football game to kick off week number 2. And you heard Rod say it on the broadcast there, but for Winnipeg, I mean, they started slow once again. They orchestrated a really nice, huge drive at the end of that second quarter there, Ches. But you got to hand it to Ottawa's defense, too, because they kept them in check for 90% of that first half.
Yeah, no continuity for the offense in Winnipeg, a lot of because of the RedBlacks defense. But firstly, that last drive for me, if I'm a RedBlacks fan, when I'm trying to analyze quarterbacks and, you know, kind of the trajectory of what we're seeing from a young quarterback in Drew Brown, that last drive before the half was key because Winnipeg went down and scored, cut it to 3. Now, how important was it for them to come back with that nice drive and get 3 points in the 2-minute offense? I thought that was excellent from Drew Brown and key. That's what you want to see from a young quarterback. 2-minute offense is so key in games. But back to this RedBlacks defense. You look at the pressure they're getting. And again, I said last week, I looked at the offensive line, the interior of Winnipeg, and I thought they got dominated. And again, you look right here, 8 defenders in coverage for RedBlacks, 5 receivers out. They should be able to block this up. But when Zach gets to his step to throw the ball, the pocket is collapsed because there's pressure in the interior. And again, when you're dropping 8 and there's 5 receivers out there, you should have time. And Zach consistently does not have time. They got to figure it out. I don't know if it's I guess you can't get more guys, but setting more out into routes to get the ball out quickly. I think that might be it. I said that pregame as well. That might be a key, but they got to do something because right now it's not working.
This may have been one of the most complete halves that this RedBlack team has played in years. You talked about the defense, but also on special teams and offense. They've also showed up. Yes, I'm sure they would like to be up by more, but they've played a pretty good first half. And we talked about that running game. There's some concerns with it when Devontae Williams, their star running back from last year, went out in the preseason. But this man, Rock Armstead, has stepped in and done a great job. 71 rushing yards in the first half. And we know about dead man walking. Devontae Dedman, I talked about him in the pregame, how special of a player is and how more he was going to get involved in this offense. But you look at him on special teams, creating great field position for this offense. Now, Winnipeg better come out and keep a key on him because we know how well he can play. And how about the quarterback play? That's the guy who we have to be excited about. Drew Brown, you got Pickett right here, the big offseason acquisition. But this is the guy, Drew Brown, coming in and playing great, playing like a seasoned veteran, making plays. And we knew he wanted to come in and play well against his former team. It was nothing personal. It's all business. And the way this team is playing right now, they've been all business. If they can keep this up in the second half, they're going to be tough to beat.
You talk about Drew Brown, Milt. Has he looked impressive? Yes. Have the Winnipeg Blue Bombers look a little bit discombobulated? Yes. But one of the main reasons has been because they have been making plays on defense as well. And these are the little things that they need to do if they want to come back in this game. Get to the quarterback. You see here, we got to the quarterback and we got him out of his plays. When Drew Brown has been in the pocket in the first half, he has been extremely accurate. Right here, they got a meeting at the quarterback with Willie J. and Wilson as well. When he gets out of the pocket, he's not as accurate. He hasn't been as accurate. So Jordan Younger, if I were him, I'm bringing pressure. I'm trying to get him out of his pocket. He's not really comfortable when he's running and trying to get to his receivers. And so that's the biggest thing that they're going to have to do, get him out of the pocket.
Well, it's going to be a fascinating second half after looking at the tape there. But you got to admit, Drew Brown's played a really nice first half. Winnipeg finding their stride a little bit. By the way, this halftime just 14 minutes because inclement weather coming in hot. So fingers crossed, Mother Nature. Don't do this. It's only week 2. All right, we got plenty more coming up after the break, right after this. The rest of your week 2 schedule, a great one on Friday Night Football. The Alouettes taking on the Elks. Riders, Tiger Cats wrap it up. And I heard on Saturday, we are going on a road trip. 80 Cent performing in BC. They've got over 50,000 tickets sold, stamps in town. We can't wait. We'll have 0 hours of sleep, but trust me, it will be completely worth it. All right, if you missed our pregame, we have had a lot of fans commenting on a lot of good things, a lot of good football talk, and then a lot of things like how the 3 of you are dressed. So let's check in, shall we? Suit ranking,
Let's
sure,
go.
why not?
This looks better.
Enoch, you got
this
number
looks
1.
better.
Ruth Dan,
She has on glasses. You know she can't see.
Milt Stiegel, number 2. Daniel Sanchez, number 3. But this next one's my favorite one. Kate by a kilometer, Obs. Milt Stiegel always tight. David Sanchez looking good. Room for improvement. But Enoch Muwamba, suit good. But the tie looks like you rented it from a funeral.
Get ready to come to your funeral, Brett. Coming to your funeral. Milt, you coming with me?
Hey, get yourself together. Stop having your wife dress you.
We get a tight shot of this. We get a tight shot of the tie just to make sure it really does look that bad. It does have a little. It's got a little thread missing here too.
We're coming to his funeral. It's okay.
You're really taking this
undertaking.
I will.
Oh, there it is.
Little undertaking.
I don't disagree. It doesn't disagree.
You should undertake I think it's all right.
So, do we think that this should be a weekly segment?
Without a doubt.
Let's do it.
Without a doubt.
Yeah?
And Kate,
yes.
Just because you're a woman, you can't always win.
No, that's fine. I'm honestly, it's an open playing field. I totally agree. But you have to admit, I'm by far the best dressed.
You got it tonight, Kate.
Come on, I'm wearing the red nose. Other than the fact that this suit blends in with the walls and I look like a floating head at times, I think it's been really tight.
You got it tonight, but tonight that's it for you.
All right is a good look.
All right is a good look. Nice try, Enoch. Maybe next time, my friend. All right.
Brett, I'm coming for you.
No, you're not. You're not going to go online and go for anything.
I will.
Don't troll
Jessica
people.
Muwamba
Trust
will.
me. Okay, Jessica, get your white. Watch yourself.
She's mad.
You're not being nice to me, honey.
Halftime in Ottawa. Here's a look at the stats brought to you by New York Fries.
Yeah, that was really tainted if you look at the time of possession in the first quarter, and then Winnipeg kind of balanced it out a little bit, but still 2-1 there. RedBlacks possessing the football. Got to keep it away from the deadly, potent offense of Zach Collaros.
Nick Dembski had a big catch in that first half. Here he is now with Claire.
Nick, your catch really spurred on your offense, but it took a while to get going. What was going on in your opinion?
I mean, you know what? Yeah, it took us a little bit to get going. We just got to stay on the field, keep making plays. We saw something that we liked on film, so we attacked it.
What was the message at half as you try to kind of regain a lead here?
Just keep playing physical. I mean, you know, we've got some momentum now. Now we just got to keep building on it and then just come out, play our brand of football, and we'll be okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And some injury concerns for the Bomber defense, Maddie. We saw that Dietrich Nichols is out, Celestin Hab, also Miles Fox, all out of this game and will not be back.
Week 1, offensive players going down. Week 2 here for the Bombers. You lost 3 defensively. Mike O'Shea, adversity early in the season here on the road, looking to climb back in this one against the RedBlacks. A little momentum there in the second quarter, Rod.
Bombers get the ball to start. Michael Krisyk back here with Myron Mitchell, who has the ball across the 30. As he is taken down, and a flag comes out just shy of the 40 at around the 38. So we wait for this to be sorted out. A penalty right off the start of the second half.
They're in the return. Illegal block. Winnipeg number 49. It's a 10-yard penalty. It's going to be first down.
As announced by the referee, Ben Major.
Yeah, Zach, slow start, and then he kind of heated up. And I love that high percentage throws. Finding, getting everybody involved, as he often does. And this is, look, byproduct of Buck Pierce and Zach Collaros having such a close relationship. That's just a dime right there. Great eyes by Collaros here. Finding Johnny Augustine in the flat, getting close to punching it in.
And Augustine, the ball carrier there, but not much doing. The RedBlacks have him all stuffed up.
Griffin there, Johnny on the spot saying, not in this play.
7 of 14 for 114, and the 1 interception as well in that first half.
Sometimes it's like this, and I guarantee it. The RedBlacks were not far away defensively over the last couple of years here. They've been on the field a long time over the last couple of years, and that usually costs them towards those close games in the end. But right now, they've been dominating this ball game.
2nd and 10 after no gain by Augustine. It is complete to Augustine. And he gets it up close to a first down. Had to get to the 32, and it looks like he got there. Wait and see where the ball is spotted. Big spot this would be
ball
in the
short,
Bomber zone.
Come on. Yeah, it's a good play. Dump it down, let him get what he can. He's about a ball length short.
Collaros looking off to the sideline and back into huddle up as the sticks will come on, and they'll measure this and just see exactly where things stand. I'd say at that close, would certainly, regardless, wouldn't expect the offense to head off the field.
Oh, he got it.
Wow. So close. The nose of the foot.
Oh, he gave it to him.
And he gets it. Ben Major signals it is a first down.
Ooh.
The nose just touching that far yard marker. So on the reception by Johnny Augustine.
He knew what he needed to get. That's big time first down. May not seem like much, backed up in your own end. Defense chomping it, they try to get the ball away and pick up another key first down right there.
Up to the Winnipeg 32 now. Bombers offense came to life in the second quarter. Came back to make it a 13-10 game and a late field goal. It's a 6-point lead by the RedBlacks. Augustine carrying the football for the 5th time. Yards tougher to come by.
Yeah,
does have a touchdown in this one.
Frankie Griffin making his presence known. Weak side linebacker for the RedBlacks. Been here now 3 years, and Texas State product, San Marcos. And I think he's attacked the machine with Javon Santos Knox and add Darius Pickett, as good as anybody in the league.
3-yard gain, Augustine. It's a 2nd and 7. Start of the second half, and it was a shorter halftime for fear of a thunderstorm later, trying to get this game done. Pressure, Collaros, they've got him. He goes down at the Winnipeg 30. Michael Wakefield coming in. He's been a bit of a nightmare for Collaros in this game, and picks up a big sack there for Ottawa.
Michael Wakefield, yeah. You know, I think he can be as dominant as anybody in the league when he wants to. It just sometimes, you know, one, he's not given the opportunity because he's not on the field, but Wakefield he's a beast. Big body. I think he's over 265. He's listed at that, but I think he's playing more like 290.
So Jamison Sheehan is back as the Bombers are forced to punt it away, and Devontae Dedman is waiting for it. Lower, wow, takes a hop, a beautiful punt by Sheehan as Dedman's chased back to the RedBlacks 10. Turns it around and heads off to the left and heads out of bounds. Chased there by Tanner Cadwallader after a 67-yard punt with the help of a roll. Ottawa football. New York Fries Thursday night football at TD Place. That's coming up only on Crave. Oh, what a beautiful look. Nightfall in the nation's capital. Peace Tower in the background. Isn't that nice? And the start of season 10 for the Ottawa RedBlacks. Played their first game in Winnipeg, July the 3rd, 2014. Driving it along the ground. Well, call him Rock. He's been solid. Armstead with that carry.
That's not our nickname we're giving him. That's what they call him. That's what Coach Dice calls him. And well, he's shown he's hard-nosed like a rock. He just moves that pile, keep it churning.
He had 71 yards rushing in the first half alone, and 8 more there. And a 2nd and 2 at the Ottawa 29. Give the rock to the Rock as he picks up the first down and more Raquel Armstead, new running back for the RedBlacks.
Coming right at you. Let's see what you got. 6'1", 225. Stick your nose in there if you want to. I love it. We got so many good running backs in the Canadian Football League. It's just insane.
And getting to know some newer ones, such as Mr. Armstead here now. 11 carries, 84 yards, the updated numbers now. 1st and 10, Ottawa 35. Back to him. Why not? Shorter carry this time, but the way he's had it going, Tanner Schmeckel in on the tackle for Winnipeg.
Drew Brown was used to doing that when he did play quarterback in Winnipeg, feeding the ball to some incredible running backs there over his 3 years, and always looks like he's found himself one here early on in the season.
3 receivers to the right, looking that way in the 2nd and 7, enough for a first down and more after the catch. The pile just keeps moving. That is Dominique Rhymes in his, we'll call it a re-debut with the RedBlacks back after a few years away in BC.
Sit down and I'll find you. Zone coverage, you can see just to the spacing at the line of the ball. Halfbacks high, corners cut. Going to sit in that hole there. Easy pitch and catch for Drew Brown, and a receiver that he defines as one he's never had the pleasure of working with before.
Connecting there, up near midfield now. First down, Ottawa possession. Back it goes to Armstead as he keeps working his way along, and a flag does come out as he gets it down to the Winnipeg 50.
Tommy Condell, new offensive coordinator.
Holding, Ottawa, number 52. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay first down.
Coach Bobby Dice says he's a great communicator. And you got 4 boys, which Tommy Condell does have. Yeah, you are going to have to be a good communicator, or otherwise your household's going to be in turmoil. So, yeah, to communicate to some professional quarterbacks that are all in, Tommy Condell's a great communicator. QBs love him.
Long time with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, let go during the season last year. He was there for a number of years. It's pushed back 1st and 20 at the 44 after the holding penalty. Adams fell chasing Brown, who just throws that one away. 2nd down and long now as Brown had nothing.
Man, you know, penalty puts you behind the sticks. Flush, got to throw it away. That's a tough one. You don't want to do it, but that's a smart play by the young quarterback. There's a new defensive coordinator for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. You're looking at him, Jordan Younger. Played a long time in the league's been buying his time to get this position. Richie Hall, longtime DC there in Winnipeg, had so much success. Steps aside, still in a assistant role capacity. Jordan Younger gets his chance.
2nd down and long. RedBlacks with a 6-point lead. 3rd quarter. Some heat coming. He gets rid of it, and it is caught. In traffic, too. Dominic Rhymes hangs on to the football, avoids the big hit, gets it down, and a first down at the Bomber 50. Oh, slightly short. Excuse me, I jumped the gun there. Still a few yards shy.
Yeah, and the voice is tight. And free safety, who's Cranby back there right now. And he's coming in with the chicken wing and trying to cut in front of that, but the ball got there quicker. Looking at about 3rd and 3.
Big gain, but of course it was 2nd and long of 20, so it is still a couple of yards shy. And so Bob Dice sends in the punting unit. Richie Leone, the veteran in his 8th year at the University of Houston, long-time RedBlack. The punted away to Myron Mitchell, standing inside the Bomber 10. And it goes out of bounds in the air. Was it inside the 15? Don't see a flag at this point in time. Claire Hanna will have more on newcomer Adarius Pickett to Ottawa. Another key signing by the RedBlacks, bringing in Adarius Pickett, who had just an outstanding season with the Argos last year. The party starter. More on him from Claire.
Yeah, Rod, and it's a no-brainer that he is a very talented linebacker. In fact, he was runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year last year. He was a CFL All-Star. However, the big reason that the Red Blacks wanted to sign him in the offseason was for his leadership. In fact, in his first year with the Red Blacks, he's already been named one of the team captains. And when I asked how he became a leader so fast, he credits it to his time helping coach at UCLA in 2020. He learned how to deal with different personalities. Not every player learns or responds the same way. For example, he can yell at Money Hunter.
That's wide open. Claire, it is taken by Wheatfall on a big play. Bombers down the left side. Wheatfall in his first game in the CFL has it down inside the 5 and a 1st and goal Winnipeg.
Yeah, showing you their explosiveness, which they've lacked in the first week of the season. They're finding it here from the second quarter on. Zach Caleros feeding the ball deep to Wheatfall, and he's in behind Money Hunter, and he's trailing and gets some help down inside the 10 and the 5-yard line, finally tracking down Wheatfall, and he shows you why the Bombers like him, and it's a big-time play from a young receiver that he's got some big shoes to fill in Kenny Lawler.
Carrick Wheatfall. And another big play through the air for Caleros. Winnipeg knocking at the door. Augustine. He drives down. So, Claire, I'm sorry. Continue your story.
Well, here's the thing. Pickett learned that each player on defense has a different personality type. So, for example, he might be yelling at Money Hunter on this play, but when it comes to Tobias Harris, he has to speak in a calmer fashion. So knowing how to converse with different teammates is what he thinks makes him a good leader and why he's been named one of the captains, guys.
And Claire, glad to be back reunited with Baron Miles. First couple of years in the league with the Montreal Alouettes. You talked about from there going on to Toronto and now with Ottawa. Chris Strebler is in. Second and goal of the Ottawa 3. Strebler, right side, trying to pull his way up, but no. Alonzo Adai's in there. Money Hunter pulling him back. And they say this door is closed right now. A 3rd and goal is coming up here. Big 3rd down for Winnipeg.
Pile up right here. Just hits a wall, gets stood up, and then there's too many bodies there for Strebler to try to gain leverage. 3rd and goal on the 2.
Crowd is fired up here at TD Place.
Draw him off sides here.
Strebler still in, quickly to the line. Strebler! Touchdown!
He quick snapped him there. That's not a bad idea. You know, thinking maybe long count. He went up there, quick snap, first sound, and bang, took it. Knew he was going. Got the jump on the Red Blacks. Don't need much down there to gain leverage. Quarterbacks, you can only do a few things down there, and long counter, quick snap him. He quick snapped him there and caught some leverage by the right side and found the end zone.
Chris Strebler, his first touchdown since coming back to the CFL. His first game back was last week against the Alouettes. That was his first game since the Grey Cup in 2019, which he and the Bombers won, and he celebrated later in style.
Yeah, he did.
And celebrates a touchdown there off on the sideline with Sergio Castillo in. And this point after has given the Winnipeg Blue Bombers their first lead of this game. They were down by 13 at one point. Big play down the field to set up this. Strebler, short touchdown.
You got to be explosive in the Canadian Football League, and Zach Caleros with no Kenny Lawler, no problem. You got Carrick Wheatfall from Brenna, Texas, going deep, a couple catches for almost 100 yards, showing you that you got to be able to stretch the defense and keep them honest, and getting a big-time contribution from that young receiver, putting the Bombers in the lead for the first time in this ballgame.
Not easy shoes to fill, too, with Kenny Lawler injured, but 2 catches for 97 yards, a 76-yarder there to help set up the touchdown for Winnipeg. And on the return is Devontae Dedman, taken down by Michael Chris Ike.
Yeah, so to that point, Rod, you got a 46-yarder to Dembski right before the half, and then, you know, it sets him up, and then you've got that one there. Pretty quick score. And Winnipeg has found a vertical stretch with Carrick Wheatfall, and yeah, that's That's really good news to the football team. It's been hit early in this football season with injuries on both sides of the ball.
Winnipeg briefly had the lead last week over the Alouettes in the first quarter on a field goal, but aside from that, the Bombers have been down, coming back, leading for the first time in this game by a point. Getting later in the third quarter, so back comes Ottawa now, and that is Justin Hardy with the catch and a first down for the RedBlacks.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much, but this is a rule of thumb. You know, you go north-south as quick as you can, and Justin Hardy catches this rock, and he knows where the sticks are, and watch how quickly he turns upfield. He's already moving. Nicely done by number 2.
He has 5 catches for 67 yards in this one. At the Ottawa 43, Brown looking to quickly get rid of it. Instead, he gets it off to Rock Armstead and picks up a couple of yards after the catch to get it beyond the 40, but actually that ends up being a loss of about a yard for Ottawa, so second and long coming up.
Yeah, whenever you go east and west with a big guy like that, advantage defense with their speed and quickness, they can rally, and they caught the big guy going east and west there in their little swing pass and wasn't able to get north and south like he was.
We'll push back a bit. Second and 12 from the Ottawa 41. RedBlacks trailing for the first time in this, the start of their 10th season. Their opening night. Throwing down low for Braylon Addison. Bombers don't think it's a catch. Jordan Younger offering his opinion on that.
Even if it is, it's going to be about a yard and a half, 2 yards short. Better throw gives them a chance. I think that skips.
Well, they're calling it a catch, and it's third down and a couple of yards.
Skips.
So the RedBlacks and Mike O'Shea.
They're not happy about having to throw that flag.
No, he's throwing that challenge flag. This Ottawa tried to get that play off quickly, but no. The challenge from O'Shea.
Winnipeg is challenging the ruling on the field. They believe it was an incomplete pass. The play will be reviewed.
Well, the video will tell in this case as the command center gets on it. As one more look, Matty, at this pass through Brown to Braylon Addison that is being called a catch and challenged by Mike O'Shea.
You be the judge back home. That ball's on the ground.
Sure looks like it is. Decision coming up. TD Place in Ottawa. We'll be back. Mike O'Shea challenging, saying no catch by Braylon Addison, that he trapped the ball. Replay official Al Bradbury, Andy Fantuz back there, and
upon further review, the ruling on the field is overturned. It's an incomplete pass. It's third down for Ottawa.
So no catch as we suspected for Addison. So a third down and a punt coming up here. Richie Leone out. That pass wasn't for a first down, but it was within a couple of yards, and the RedBlacks initially showed signs of wanting to go for it, but
which would have been, I think, a bad move at that time.
It may have been. Who knows? I mean, Mitchell is back now just inside the Bomber 25. So Winnipeg has the lead, and they're about to get the ball back, and in under 3 minutes to go until three-quarter time.
See if Leone can get a better punt off this time. Last time he punted out of bounds.
And got flagged for that, too. This one settling down around the 25. Mitchell gets around Ty Cranston, cuts it up, and up to about the 37 before he is taken down after a punt of 45 and a late flag. A couple of them coming out now after the fact, extracurriculars after the whistle is blown. 2 flags out there.
Better punt by Leone.
We have a player misconduct foul. Ottawa, number 13, will go up 15 yards from the end of the play. It's going to be first down.
That is the punter, Leone, who gets flagged for that. As said, after the fact, after Mitchell was down.
Shot of Jeremiah Mazzoli right there on the sidelines, trying to calm down his kicker. Richard probably still steaming from that one he put out of bounds a couple series ago.
So the result of that, with the penalty and the return, it is up to the 53 Winnipeg.
Zach is licking his lips on this one. Great field position, momentum, first lead of the game.
wanted to do the toss to Augustine. Instead, he just throws it away. That play a little bit of a mix-up, as you could see him turn back and want to send it off to Augustine.
The pass went beyond the line of scrimmage. It's second down.
The fans wanting a grounding call there against Collaros and Winnipeg. It's a 2nd and 10 coming up.
Yeah.
Little miscommunication there.
Discombobulation.
Discombobulation. Close to midfield. And passing. 4-man rush. With time, it's intercepted. The safety, Alonzo Adai, has it. And a good return, too, in Bomber territory. Chris Kolinkowski tried to get him, and he gets a few more yards before he is finally taken down. And the second interception thrown by Zach Collaros in this game. Big one, Ottawa defense, as the RedBlacks take over in the Bomber zone.
Yeah, and Zach's, I think, still a little pissed off, for lack of better words, about the last play. He stares this down, and he looks left the whole time. And Adai sees that and just undercuts a dig route. He's looking there, waits for the window. Adai feathers back and picks it off. And like you said, Rod, great return. Big time play by the RedBlacks defense when they needed it, because momentum was definitely shifting towards Winnipeg. And Adai said, not on my watch.
It really had been going the Bombers' way up until that point. They still have the lead. Ottawa has the ball. They're at the Winnipeg 45 now. 17-16 game. Third quarter, and Rock hits a wall. Nowhere to go.
That's Willie. Big
Willie Jefferson.
Making sure he's on the stat sheet. Yeah, what Montreal did, it was a really nice job last week of keeping that big man in check. Well, we know what havoc he can wreak any play, anytime, any team. Willie Jefferson could be there. On that play, he said, we got to shut this down right now.
Every year, one of the top defensive linemen in the CFL, the Defensive Player of the Year in the league back in 2019 when went on and won the Grey Cup with the Bombers. 2nd and 11 now. Final minute, third quarter. Coverage there as the ball pops out. It was intended for Dominique Rhymes. And Tyrell Ford in his 2nd year with the Bombers in on the coverage there for Winnipeg. 3rd down coming up.
Yeah, long throw here for the young quarterback, trying to complete a tight window too. And he hits his 3rd step, and well, that's tight. That's tight coverage. This is outstanding job by Ford. Getting the job done, getting off the field. Big time bow in your neck defensively for Jordan Younger's defense on that series.
So Leone back out to punt. Last time took that penalty, sending it off to Mitchell. This time going left. Inside the 10. Oh, really a great special teams tackle, but it ends up getting better for that coverage unit of the RedBlacks as they push Mitchell back to close to the 5-yard line. It is the start of week 2 in the CFL on TSN on this Thursday night in the nation's capital. Game 1 for the Ottawa RedBlacks, and Michael Wakefield is a couple of big plays on defense with the rain coming down. They've got them hemmed deep at the end of the third quarter here. Final play, Collaros. Some pressure. He gets rid of it, and it is complete. It's caught up near the 15 by Drew Wolotarski.
Come on, Rod. Kate's been waiting for you to say it properly. Say it again.
Wolotarski with the catch for Winnipeg. And so ends the third quarter. Some momentum swings here, but the headliner for Winnipeg, the Bombers, drive down, and they get their first lead of the game by a single point heading into the final quarter. The numbers through 3 quarters. We've seen Winnipeg's offense in the past look more explosive, Matty, but let's face it, big plays got them back in this game. That's why they lead it by a point heading to the fourth.
Canadian Football League is known for big plays. You got to have guys that, as Davis says, they need to be separators, and they found one. And Wheatfall just has got the job done, and then we saw Dembski doing his thing, and it's a beautiful throw by Zach Collaros. So credit him as well on that offensive line. Look, they've taken some hits here by the RedBlacks early in this football game, and then they've suffered some injuries defensively that would crush a lot of football teams, and still they're up by 1 here in the fourth quarter, and rain's coming down, and I think that could be a factor if it continues here in the fourth quarter, and ball security is going to be paramount.
And Zach Collaros is on the sideline to start this possession. Deep in their zone, Chris Strebler is on. It's a 2nd and short. So the short yardage QB Strebler is a touchdown in this game. And not much there. Damon Webb in the pack, and he did not get the first down.
And what do you do here, Rod? I mean, do you risk going for it here, or do you punt the football away?
Got him a little closer, but still, it looks like at least a half yard to a yard that they're shy.
Well, we know it's going to be at least a yard. Let me see. Oh, yeah, he's just...
So had to get to about the 16-yard line, and the ball's around the 15. It is a 3rd and 1. Here we go. Strebler stays in.
Mano-y-mano. Who wants it most?
For the first down. Strebler, right side. Well, didn't get much, but it looks like he will have enough. Had to get it to the 21.
Yeah, this gets ugly down there. If you've heard me describe this, it's a bunch of nastiness going on down there, and you don't want to be there. We saw in week 1, Vernon Adams, starting quarterback for BC, arguably one of the most explosive, revered quarterbacks in our league, justifiably so, but he's a finesse player. That guy, not so much. It's the kind of guy you want handling the short yardage, taking some shots, not letting your starting quarterback like VA take him like he was last week. And they got rid of BC. They got rid of Dakota Prukop. He went to Edmonton.
And Prukop had some good years in that role with Winnipeg.
And Buck Pierce loved him, but Strebby's just bigger.
On the ground, Johnny Augustine finds a hole and has some more as he gets it up near the 30. And with one running play, the Bombers buy themselves some more space and another first down Winnipeg after the gain of 14 for Augustine.
Yeah, that's huge just for field position alone here in this fourth quarter. Get out of your own end. Don't let them get good field position and cheap points. And that's a big hole by that offensive line. Johnny exploits it and picks up another first down, Rod, like you said. And this is huge, man. Control the ball. Keep it away from the young quarterback at home. Grind it.
A late rain falling here. A first down. Damon Webb on the blitz. Chasing down Collaros, forces him to get rid of it, and that one is incomplete. 2nd down coming up as Webb was charging in.
I like that. Coming off the left side. Yeah, coming from right here. He's got to come a long way and time it up, and he's hot on his horse on the heels of Collaros because he's flat-footed right there. Augustine does not go and engage. He whiffs on that, and Zach's like, what are you doing?
Crowd picking up for the RedBlacks defense. And a big 2nd down and 10 coming up here. Trying to stall that Bomber momentum. Another blitz coming. On Collaros, no time. He goes down. They sack him again. As Baron Miles dials up another pressure defense to take the ball out of Winnipeg's hands, they'll have to punt it away.
Yeah, aggressive 2 plays in a row, and they send 6. And they get to Zach Collaros. Squashing, everybody stays in their lanes, being lane conscious, not leaving them any room to step up, and Zach goes down. Big time play by the RedBlacks team.
And the sack by Damon Webb, good couple of plays, bringing it for the RedBlack defense. Had the pressure before to force the early throw, and then Webb gets the sack. Jamison Sheehan from his 10. Ottawa gets the ball in good shape here for Dedman. And just he pops out of that coverage and gets it up to about the 52 for the RedBlacks. Back comes Drew Brown, fourth quarter, down a point. The most important player in the young history of the Ottawa RedBlacks, now in their 10th season still. It's Grey Cup champion Henry Burris. Back to Claire.
Thanks, Rod. And it's been hard to get a hold of Henry Burris because he's been hugging everybody on the sidelines ever since the snap of the first football till this moment. But what's it been like for you for the first time being back in Ottawa in 5 years?
It's great to be back home. I mean, we're rejoicing on so many great memories here, celebrating the 10-year, and to be voted the #1 player as far as within this organization would be possible without the fans and all the great teammates that I played against during my time here. It's been an emotional return on top of that.
Now, you've mentioned one of your favorite memories, of course, was winning a Grey Cup here, but your kids, Armand and Barron, they can't even remember it because they were so young. What's it like sharing the moment here with them and Nicole, your wife?
Well, this city made us who we are. I mean, it kind of encapsulated everything that we had achieved up until that moment. But now we come back here, there are family and friends that have helped make us who we are today. And we missed many memories here. We missed the people. We missed the city. And to be able to come back to TD Place, I was in tears basically when I arrived here for this game. Just looking forward to the moment, reflecting back with so many great teammates and fans, sign autographs, taking pictures. Because, again, they made this whole thing possible for us, the fans did. And we were lucky enough to bring a Grey Cup back for them.
Now, I know on the sidelines you've been taking a look at the coaches. You're coaching your son at Florida. Could we ever expect you to be coaching back in the CFL?
Once Barron graduates from high school, let's talk.
Oh, you heard it here first. Thank you so much, Henry.
Hey, thank you so much, Claire.
Armand and Barron and Henry's sons, and a proud moment for them, for their dad, and what he meant to Ottawa football here. Coming in 2014 with the expansion team, and they won only 2 games. And Henry needed receivers, Matty, and they went out and got a bunch of talented receivers. They went to the Grey Cup the next year, lost to Edmonton, and then the year after, when it looked like he may not be able to play, Hank did and went to overtime against Calgary, an epic Grey Cup that Ottawa won. And that is definitely the highlight of their 10 years here back in the nation's capital.
Hank had to go get some modern medicine to come out and for that ball game, and it was just incredible, his performance. And he's an emotional player. You saw that. You see it when he talks. He's excitable, and I'm really, I mean, as a father, you know, you saw where his focus was. You know, talk to me after my youngest son graduates.
Right.
And his oldest son, Armand, is committed to Concordia University in St. Paul in Minnesota, and going to play some football there. And you know, so it runs in the family, Rodney.
Sure does. And congratulations to Henry Burris. It's hard to believe has not played. He was on our panel for a while and has not played in the CFL since that Grey Cup title.
We miss him.
In 2016.
He was
well, Hank's great to work with. Great teammate. RedBlacks is picking up a first down, faking the handoff and throwing it off for the fullback, Anthony Gosselin. That falls incomplete in that first down play.
We covered Hank's first ball game in
his
Montreal.
first start in Montreal,
That's
you and I,
correct.
in 1999, he was with Calgary.
That's correct.
Facing the Alouettes. That's right.
I think we got in trouble that game. We won't tell that story. Yeah.
Well,
we knew he was going to be special back then.
Yeah, he was. He was. And, of course, had some great years with the Stampeders, Saskatchewan Roughriders, too. Hamilton threw for a lot of yards there and ended up
63,000. He ended up third all time.
Third all time. Behind Anthony Calvillo and Damon Allen. 2nd and 10. Winnipeg 48. Brown. That's caught. That's Hardy. That's a first down, and that's more. Cuts back inside. He's still going. Justin Hardy. Down inside the 10. Close to the 5. Big play, RedBlacks. A 43-yard gain, and it'll be a 1st and goal.
Yeah, he's right here. He's going to go out here. Ball's going to be put on time. Gives himself to work with. But again, we're talking about Hardy's quickness off the break and the catch. He turns and he's gone. Outruns the angle. Then boom, it's off to the races. Justin Hardy getting Ottawa set up on the 6-yard line, knocking at the door. Just great awareness and speed and a sense of urgency getting on the field. Ackland trying to throw a block. He does, and good-looking play.
Hardy now has 6 catches for 109 yards. Leading receiver last year had over 1,000. Back to the ground. Armstead down inside the 5. Gets it down to about the 2 with Brandon Alexander and Adam Bighill there. But here come the RedBlacks, a 2nd and goal and knocking on the door again.
Do they ever need this drive? Yeah, Biggie and Alexander stepped up big time and stopped the guy that Winnipeg's had trouble stopping for most of this ball game when they needed to, knocking at the door.
Reichwell Armstead. Rock, 91 yards carrying. The longest to 31.
First-year player from Temple.
Where Hank went to school. Here we go. Faking it. Into the end zone. Brown, touchdown! And it's Hardy RedBlacks have the lead again.
Yeah, right to left. You know, a little play fake. People bite, lift it over the top, and he's all alone. Already getting rewarded for his work. And quick reaction out of his break, getting him down on the 6, and 2 plays later, first of the year.
Making it a 5-point game. They're going for 2 to see if they can push it to 7. So a 2-point attempt coming up here for Drew Brown and the RedBlacks in his first game with Ottawa, which happens to be against his old club. He spent 3 years backing up Zach Collaros for Brown. Devontae Dedman in the backfield with him. Martner wide to the right. Brown looks off into the end zone. No. It was attempted for Rhymes, and Retta Kremdy was there. And so it remains a 5-point difference at 22-17. But Ottawa was down, and all alone in the end zone is Justin Hardy for the go-ahead TD.
Yeah, a little switch motion here on the outside, and Justin Hardy takes advantage of communication, lack thereof, by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and it's a simple pitch and catch. And Hardy, there's a little switch motion there, 2 go on 1, and boy, that's too easy.
The rain is coming down heavier now. RedBlacks in front by 5. Bomber ball, Mitchell with it. 6:44 in the clock in the 4th quarter as he is pushed out of bounds up at the Winnipeg 30. Justin Hardy, big touchdown. Can the RedBlacks hang on for win number 1? We are back at TD Place in Ottawa, and under 7 minutes to go here in the 4th quarter. As this commotion down at the RedBlack bench, we're not exactly sure what is going on, as someone is getting some attention down at the sidelines. So there is a timeout right now on the field.
Jeremiah.
And there we see Jeremiah Masoli sitting up.
That's Jeremiah now.
But was getting some attention earlier, had collapsed down on the field, and seems to be fine now as he gets up. But there was certainly a sense of urgency. Wow. Zach Collaros, an old teammate from their days together in Hamilton, coming over and putting his arm around it. But as I said, we're not sure what happened, but certainly a moment of concern when we saw someone go down. It was Jeremiah Masoli, and nice to see some smiles there now, because, as I say, for a brief moment, people were flocking around him to make sure that he was okay, and does appear to be so now. So the game will resume. 22-17 Ottawa. 6.5 minutes to go. The Winnipeg 30. Collaros in. The heat keeps coming, and a flag comes out. Will this be holding against Winnipeg, as he finally does, on the move, get rid of it and just throws it out of bounds? But one running theme here with Ottawa's defense is they're getting a lot of heat on number 8 in the last few possessions.
Holding Winnipeg number 53. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll replay first down.
It's Patrick Neufeld right in the middle of that, and well, he didn't have much choice because Zach evaded to his right, and that's where Patty had leverage and went right into the defensive tackle. Then it was Chase was on, and Zach had to throw it away, but to no avail. Holding 10-yard penalty.
1st and 20 at the Winnipeg 20. 6 minutes exactly. More pressure coming. Liam Dobson got an arm on a defender there as well, and that was Lorenzo Malden, and it looks like could be another holding penalty coming up for a beleaguered offensive line that is having difficulty with this RedBlacks pass rush.
Could that be the bye week coming into play? You know, a team that is
holding Winnipeg number 64. Penalties declined. It's going to be 2nd down.
Yeah, so 2 years ago, he's right here. I believe he's right there, and he's going to slide inside on Dobson. Dobson's going to get the brunt of this right there. He can't leverage him. He's just got to take him down so his quarterback doesn't get smeared. Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago. Led the league in sacks. And a little off year last year, but Bryce Carter picked up his slack.
Four-man rush this time, and they still get pressure on him. It's nearly intercepted. Just coming in, Darius Pickett in the coverage there. So even rushing 4, as Calera's got rid of it, and is 10 for 23 now passing in this game.
Yeah, and so Zach's just looking for any type of time here, and really tight coverage on the back end. That looks like Pickett right there undercutting Dalton Schoen, and well, what a draw, what a series there for the RedBlacks defense. Pressure by the interior defensive line. Malden drawing holds.
And Collaros, Matty, is 1 for 6 since that big play, 76 yards to Carrick Wheatfall. So Winnipeg has to punt. Here's Dedman. And for a little while breaking free, but Tanner Cadwallader has him all wrapped up. But again, it's a good place to start. Good field position for Drew Brown and the RedBlacks offense, because the job being done by that Ottawa defense here in this quarter. And Raquel Armstead, 14 carries, 91 yards. He had that big 31-yarder.
Well, I know that he'd like to add to that total right now, kill this clock, get better field position, at least get 3. To go up 8, forcing Winnipeg a score and 2-point convert, but ultimately you're looking for a put him away type of drive right here.
Armstead in the backfield now, a 1st and 10 at the 53, and looking over to Dominic Rhymes.
How about that open field tackle by Holm?
Holm coming right in and limiting the damage by Rhymes, as he does pick up a few yards though and gets it into the Bomber zone just across midfield down to the Winnipeg 53. A 2nd and long is coming up.
Yeah, he could travel a long way, one of the best in the league. And consistency, can run. Last week he was in the tail end of that long one from Tyson Philpott and couldn't catch up to him. And big time play for Montreal at home in Winnipeg Stadium. But home, he can fly, and he showed it on that play.
2nd and 7 now. Brown in behind and nearly picked off. Terrell Bonds had a chance at it, and after that pass was a little bit behind the intended receivers, Bonds regrets not getting a better grip on that in coverage on Hardy in the new corner. Nearly had a big play for Winnipeg's D.
You can't forget that it's raining. He threw that off his back foot. He was definitely behind him. Whew, Bonds was like, man, it could have been a difference maker right there.
So some passing plays for the RedBlacks as the rain keeps coming down. A beautiful punt, but it ends up in the end zone, and so that's one more on the board and a 6-point lead after a 55-yard punt by Leone, who was hoping he could just get that bounce out at the 1 or 2 yard line.
Not happy with that one. He took a penalty last time he was out there. He kicked one out of bounds over there. Richie Leone, one of the best in the league for years, last 7 years, and a tough go of it here tonight. That one got away from him too, Rob.
It did. He had won, albeit in a preseason game a couple of weeks ago, same sort of distance, that just spun out perfectly down at the 1 and rolled out of bounds, and he's very good at it.
Yeah, but he's looking. He didn't care about that one. He wanted that one, and just was off the mark a little bit. And it's like that's a big time difference of almost 35, 40 yards field position.
Yeah, he'd rather have it in the regular season than the preseason, but we've seen some very accurate punting over the years from Richie Leone. 1st and 10 Bombers, though, you're right. Starting from their 40, and a nice catch, one hand, bringing it down is Dembski. And the completion there for Collaros, and good work by Dembski to get it up close to a 1st down near their 50.
Yeah, you may not be able to see it on your television, but I'm telling you, it's raining here, and he made that look pretty easy. One-hander coming over the middle, knowing that somebody's going to be eating his ribs. And thank you.
Timeout, Ottawa.
So in a 2nd and short, the RedBlacks call a timeout with their defense out there and Chris Strebler out there. Short yardage for Winnipeg.
3 minutes left in the ball game. You're down 6. been a tightly contested contest. Now Strevs is in the game on second and short. Do you fake this one and go over the top? Take a freebie here? You think you're going to get it on 3rd and 1 if you don't make it.
Well, we'll do one more play before the official 3-minute warning. The rain coming down now. Thunderstorms are in the forecast. As I said, they're trying to get this game done before the thunderstorms roll in. Rain coming down. Stretler. Wow, he didn't get much. He only needed about a foot. He just had to get it to the 50, so furthest advancement.
Wow.
See where they spot the football here, but he ran into a wall.
It did. It's like a big-time wall.
Yeah, just had to, you see the initial part, punching it over, enough for a first down. Bomber football. 3 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. They're down 6. It's a race against the clock in more ways than one. The Bombers, under 3 minutes to go now, and they're down 6 points, so they need a touchdown. Also a race against the clock in terms of the weather, because it's raining harder, and there's a real risk of lightning. And one just flashing now, so will they be able to get this game finished? Claris, under the pressure, he steps up and he slides. It's still more heat on him. The RedBlacks have done a good job at forcing his hand here in the second half, especially. 23 career game-winning drives. Just a couple ahead of Mr. Dunnigan in his Hall of Fame career, and trying to get number 24 tonight. Needs a touchdown and an extra point.
This is what you work for as a quarterback, to be in this position to bring your team back and get a win.
2nd and 6, the Winnipeg 54. That is complete. That's Wheatfall, who had a big 76-yard reception earlier that led to a Bomber touchdown.
I love this, how he secures the ball, because he knows he can't go anywhere without it. And this is textbook, secures it. 2 hands into traffic, moving the sticks. Like what I see in that young man.
And players are coming off the field.
2:09 on the clock.
2:09 on the clock, and the players are heading to the dressing room.
Where do we go?
Lightning, and we've seen a couple of strikes. And more just the skies now had been in the forecast, and they were hoping to get this one in. There was a window that would be clear enough with a bit of rain coming down to get this game in. Not quite. And it's, of course, a critical 2:09. Winnipeg with the ball around midfield and trailing by 6 points.
1st and 10.
At the Ottawa 42.
I like that. I like my chances from Zach Collaros, you know, but we saw in that last series of downs, we saw where Baron Miles' defense got aggressive and put some pressure on Zach, and good twist out in interior, and then Malden came in there and they forced the issue. And as a defender, sometimes I don't want to defend. I want to be offensive and go attack, and they did in that series.
They've been doing such a great job at that as well. I mean, this second half, ever since Winnipeg had taken the lead, Ottawa's defense, the amount of heat they were able to get in Collaros really helped shift this game back the RedBlacks' way, but something neither team can control, as you see fans leaving their seats as well, and that is the weather. I mean, we were that close to getting through this game without a weather delay, but who knows how long it'll be now. There have been several flashes of lightning just recently showing up in the skies here above TD Place in the nation's capital. All I can say, and Kate Burness's first night back this season, is I'm sorry, KB. We'll send it to you, and this game is still going.
Thank you very much, Rod. You know what? This is the CFL, isn't it? We did say at halftime, we were kind of lucky to get through most of this game, to be quite honest with you. They were calling for thunderstorms throughout the night. And look, it's 2:09 remaining in the game. We've got a 23-17 football game. And you can understand that Mike O'Shea and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were a little bit ticked at this point. Not really at anyone but Mother Nature. You could actually see the lightning above them. But just because they had that momentum going down the field, and look, this is a team that's kind of struggled all night long to find their offensive rhythm. But Enoch, they were finally getting something together, and obviously in critical moments.
That's right. It absolutely sucks finally getting something going at the end of the game. Zach Collaros hasn't gotten anything going the whole time, but if anything, if you're leaving the game in his hand for one more time for the last drive, I would put my money on him any day of the week because he's done it before. He's been there, and this was an opportunity. So we'll see what happens after the delay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not only was there momentum in that Winnipeg offense, it was kind of funny watching O'Shea, because you see him talking to CFL officials, and I'm not sure what he's saying, but he's not happy. But also gives Ottawa a chance to now go back in the locker room, see what Winnipeg was doing on that final drive, and figure out how they want to come out and attack. So not only does it slow down the momentum of that Winnipeg offense, but also defensively come up with a new game plan and also get to, rest and a new game plan.
It actually may work in Winnipeg's favor. You think about when they had that drive, it was a torrential downpour. But now they may come out when they resume, and it may not be raining at all. And as a receiver, you asking the receiver, the worst type of weather is rain. We can deal with the cold, we can deal with the heat, but rain just destroys us. Most of us like to wear gloves, and your gloves are slippery, but if it stops raining, that gives the Winnipeg Blue Bombers a better chance. But as you spoke, Ottawa, they can go back and they can regroup. They know Winnipeg has to score a touchdown. I don't think they'll get in field goal range and attempt a field goal with only 2:09 left. So it's going to be an interesting time when these two teams resume.
How big was that two-point conversion?
No, it was monstrous.
Because if they decide at that point, I agree, I would have went for two. That's the only move to make is go for two. If you get it, you're up 7. Now you would have been up 8 because they got a single there. But again, a touchdown that converted extra point wins it.
Right. I know we always go through this, too, when it comes to weather delay. By the way, Enoch, is this your first weather delay on the panel?
First one.
Oh, it's fun, isn't it? No, it's a delight to be here at this point. As a player, though, and look, you played most recently, I mean, what currently is the state of the locker room? I mean, what are you guys trying to do at this point in time to ensure, especially if you're the Bombers and you're in the midst of a drive to basically keep warm?
At this point right now, if I'm in Ottawa, it's almost like another halftime, Milt, and you're kind of going over the details of the play. And coaches coming in and saying, hey, look, this is what they're likely going to. You never really get a chance to regroup again after the halftime, but they have the chance right now. And so they're going over some of the details, especially from bringing pressure. This is what you got to do, and going over all these little details that are going to allow them to hold on to this lead to win the game.
The problem with this, you just don't know how long you're going to be in.
Yes.
You don't know, should I start getting warmed up now? Do I need to cool down? Can I have time to get something to eat? You just don't know, and that's the uncertainty that you face. I mean, both teams have to go through it. So you just have to stay mentally ready because you just don't know what you're getting into. You can't complain. You just got to understand there's no one controlling this, and both teams have to face it. So let's try to keep our mental toughness intact.
We'll see if we get something from upstairs or from the league that tells us, because usually give you some time and say, hey, we're going to go back at this time.
So I am no meteorologist, but you guys know that we have had countless weather delays, and I now have AccuWeather up, and I'll tell you this. It is currently going to be raining in Ottawa till approximately 11 p.m., but it is going to lighten up from what it currently is. The problem is these thunder showers have rolled in, but it does look like the precipitation is going to stay around. And again, too, that might change your game plan, and you got to like what Winnipeg was doing even with the rain at this point, Milt.
Yeah, and it's difficult in that rain. You have to realize that there are no more hand catches. We saw Wheatfall catch the ball. He caught it against his body. That's the only way to catch the ball in this rain, let's be honest. And they also have to be able to run the ball. They have to get the ball to Augustino. You put Strevler in, you change things up, because regardless of how great your receivers may be, it is difficult to catch the ball in this rain. There are no throwing the ball down the field. Everything is short and running the ball. So Winnipeg know they have to make some adjustments when they come out for this final 2 minutes and 9 seconds of this game.
So 2 minutes and 9 seconds. If Ottawa goes on, and think about how important this is, if Ottawa goes on to win this game, obviously undefeated, but going in to next week, they play at Montreal. If Montreal wins, that'll be two undefeated teams going at it. And then also on the other side, if Winnipeg was to lose this game, they go into BC in week 3. Imagine that, 0-2 and then going into BC.
One quick thing. Farhan just sent us a text.
I know,
Davison,
why is he
and he's basically saying
us?
if he was working, we wouldn't be going through this.
Wow.
You know
That's
what,
what he
Farhan?
said.
Come on back,
wow,
buddy.
Farhan.
You can take it from here. I will head home, and you can finish off the game.
He's laughing at us.
Yeah, that's just mean, Farhan. And you know what? I like more camera time, so I'm not even mad at this weather delay. You know, I'm good with a challenge my first week back. All right, so Drew Brown, let's talk about him so far. He's 20 of 30. He's 238. He's got 1 TD. And Milt, I think we could say overall he has looked very solid in his RedBlacks debut.
He looks very good. Sean Burke, their GM, and Bobby Dice, they took a gamble. Let's be honest. They took a gamble with bringing this guy in to basically save their job because they knew if they had a bad start to this season, there was going to be a good chance that one or maybe both of those guys were going to be gone. But so far, Drew Brown has shown up. He's shown some poise. He's made some tough throws. He's looking really good right now. But all this means nothing if they can't win the game because that's the bottom line in professional football.
No.
It means no. Here we go. Come on, Chad.
It means nothing.
It means nothing.
I'm not trying to play.
This team has won how many games in the last 2 years?
You got to come out with a W.
They got to. That's the only way. That's it.
I'm not going to sit up here and argue. I'm not going to sit up here and argue just to argue. But let's not say silly statements like that. It all means nothing. We've seen a quarterback. They need to win this game. But we saw a quarterback come out there today. He's looked excellent. He's looked amazing on second down. He's converted. He's looked poised. The 2-minute drive before the half, he's looked excellent. I'm not doubting that it's important for them to win, and there's jobs on the line. But he doesn't make big blanket statements like all of it's for nothing if they don't win.
It's not for nothing. It means nothing if you don't win the game.
We know.
So how many opportunities is he going to get to go out there and play well if they don't win? You have to win games.
Do you learn anything from losing?
You learn nothing from losing.
So that right there, if anyone ever wants to listen to Milt,
you learn nothing from losing. You just found another way to lose.
That's just that. You got to move off of that because that's just not factual.
Okay. I definitely think there's some stuff that they can learn from this game as far as the Ottawa RedBlacks. And you're right, Chess. Drew Brown has looked absolutely amazing. And one of the reasons has been his receivers have done a really good job. But you talked about it, Milt. As a receiver, you don't really want to play in this type of game because with the rain and everything. But one guy that's been really good for Drew Brown has helped him tremendously, Raquel Armstead.
Yes.
He's been pretty solid.
Yes.
He's been a constant for him. Handing the ball over to him, he has done a lot of damage on the ground, and he's kept this offense very balanced and allowed for them to have a lot of success in this game so far. And he's likely going to finish over 100 yards.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're the fans too in Ottawa, you got to appreciate this effort. Coming out here like this, you got a lot of new-look players, a new-look team, and overall, I mean, if they can pull this off, this is going to be a monster win against these Blue Bombers. Let's look at the flip side, and that being Zach Collaros. And his number's not spectacular. It's 12 of 24. He's got 231 at least, but he does have the 2 picks as well. And look, we even spoke about this before. You don't want it to be overreaction week 2, but Zach has really struggled to open this season, Enoch.
He struggled tremendously, and this is game 2. Milt, you've been talking about it since week 1, since really the beginning of the season.
Yep.
Nobody was really there at training camp. You can see that, and it looks like it over there as well. And then you add on top of that injuries on top of that as well. It is not helping the situation at all. And so he needs to find rhythm. But at the end of the day, you need to be on the field so we can develop that chemistry and the rhythm.
Yeah, take away that, the 2 catches, 1 for 76 and 1 for 47. I mean, that's 123 yards off of that 231. So that's a inflated 231. They obviously those plays count, but when you add 2 big chunk plays of 123 yards, you should have more than 230. So this passing game is pedestrian to say the least. And I said again, and I'll watch the film. But last week of this game, that interior offensive line struggled big time. Matt talked about it on the broadcast again about separators. We saw a couple plays with some separation, but again, mostly we're seeing zone defense from Ottawa. They drop back, they're rushing 4, they're playing zone behind it, but they're getting there with 4 and able to drop a lot of bodies. So, Zach's not able to buy a ton of time at this point in his career, he's not buying a bunch of times. If you're able to rush 4, get to the quarterback, and be able to drop 8 defenders into coverage, it's pretty tough. And you'll see right here that interior is getting pushed back. There's Wakefield up the front. He had the tip earlier. I don't know what the answer is. There's got to be, what's the answer to this? I mean, I thought one thing I would say is screens.
Yep.
Quick.
Play calling side.
Yeah.
Get to Zach Caleros.
Empty.
Squash and everybody stays in their lanes.
Matty wants to tell us.
He wants to tell. All of a sudden, Matt Dunnigan just chimed in. All right, I'm not disappointed in anything tonight. I mean, Mother Nature, we can't really predict her, but I'm slightly disappointed in Claire Hanna because she promised us this. Claire? You have promised me this evening there will be no weather delays in this game, correct?
Correct, Kate. I'm going to tell the rest we're going to keep things rolling here at TD Place.
Come on.
I am keeping that ever, Claire, forever. Well, you know what? We can't predict that, though, and that's
she had her
what
fingers
happened.
crossed.
You know what? She made it all the way to 2:09 of the fourth quarter. I mean, we were under the 3-minute warning. You know what? We're going to step aside right now. We'll check on that weather in Ottawa. We'll come back, and I'm sure the guys will have plenty of more stories of all their weather delays. A glorious night in our nation's capital. Super sunny and delightful. Back right after this.
I got a tea time in the morning.
So we are currently in a weather delay in Ottawa. The delay was called at 10:13 Eastern. Just a reminder, there is a 1-hour time limit on this. So if the players aren't back on the field around 11 p.m. Eastern because they need to warm up, this game will be awarded to the Ottawa RedBlacks. I couldn't even imagine if that was to happen. There's 2:09 left in this game, and Winnipeg was putting together a drive. I mean, you don't want to end a game on this, to be quite honest with you. So fingers crossed they can get these guys back on the field. The weather does not look great currently in the nation's capital, but hopefully it moves through. And as we said, hopefully we see those players, because I think that would be just such an awful way to go out of this game. Let's stick with this game here, Davis. And who needs this more? If you're the Ottawa RedBlacks, got a new starting quarterback, you got some new look players on this team. And on the flip side, for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, you come out flat against the Montreal Alouettes last week, and then you have this performance where you're at least picking up a little bit of momentum. But then if the game gets called, I mean, that's a whole different story. Who needs the victory more, in your opinion?
4 straight Grey Cups. Ottawa needs it more. I mean, there's no question. The pressure on the front office, head coach, everything. I mean, everything is depending on what these guys do. And you said it, Milt. It's the first month of the season. It is what it is. I think we all understand. If Ottawa doesn't do well the first month of the season, they're likely making changes. So yes, it's 100% Ottawa needs this more.
100% agree. You know, they're trying to.
That's a first.
Yeah. Did I agree with you?
Yeah.
Well, I'll change what I said. So no, I'm with you. And we talked about this before, how the atmosphere is there when the RedBlacks are winning. So, you know, they're trying to get that fan base back. And they're also trying to make sure that their personnel department stays intact, and that only happens if they win games. So there's a lot of pressure there for a lot of individuals there. Drew Brown, head coach Bobby Dice, Sean Burke, GM, all the coach. Everyone understands that they have to win, and they can't win late. They have to win right now. Otherwise, they'll make some significant changes.
No, absolutely. 3 for 3. I think Ottawa needs it more. You talk about the season that they had last year, just ending this the way that they did. Starting off on the right foot this season is going to be extremely important, especially with a new quarterback in Drew Brown, who's never really led a team. And so just having a good start this season is going to be imperative for this team.
All right, you know, we'll keep you posted on this one. Of course, the weather delay currently in Ottawa, and now the clock is ticking, which is absolutely fascinating. And with just 2:09 left in this game, as I said, I think it would be brutal to end the game this way, but rules are rules. Let's move over to Friday night football, shall we?
Can I ask you one quick question first?
You can ask me whatever you like. I may or may not have the answer.
You saw Mike O'Shea when the game ended there, right?
He was
His
ticked.
Reaction?
Yep.
If this game gets called.
And you saw him walking through the halls there at TD Place as well. Do you not think he doesn't? Of course he knows the rules.
He knows the rules.
And I mean, you got to be. I mean, but here's the thing. What are you going to do? You can actually see lightning all over. You can't do anything.
You can't do
Player safety.
You got to do anything.
Player safety comes first.
Yeah.
And there's still lightning currently going on. And to be quite honest with you, as I said, if you looked at the radar before this game even started, I actually think we're kind of lucky that we got to this point without anything. So we even shortened the halftime at this point. But You know what? We're going to wait and see what happens here. But obviously, if you're a Bombers fan, you want these players back on the field. We'll have plenty more coming up right after this. Football, the Montreal Alouettes coming off a very nice 27-12 victory over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, taking on the Elks, who had 21 points scored against them in the fourth quarter. They lost to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Should be a dandy. Now, someone who was great in the first game for the Montreal Alouettes is Tyson Philpott, and I had a chance to sit down with him before the season began.
Philpott. Tyson Philpott has the catch that has put Montreal ahead in the Grey Cup.
23 years old. You're a Grey Cup champion. Just gonna hang up the cleats now?
Definitely not. It's time for the encore, I think.
I love that. In such a short amount of time, you've accomplished so much in the CFL. I mean, we all know your family's history at this point, but the fact that you played in the big game and you had the play at the end of the game that really solidified it, I mean, what did that moment mean to you, and have you had time to reflect on it?
Definitely try to reflect, just like hearing from the older guys, like soak it in as much as you can, just because those moments might feel like they're going to last forever, but they don't ultimately. So that's been the biggest thing, soaking it in, but also trying to move past it and think about how we're going to move on from this and what's next. So that's been on my mind for sure too. But yeah, ultimately soaking it in, because my dad won it. Hopefully my brother's going to win it. And I didn't know we were the first father-son duo to ever win. So I told Jalen, I don't think there'll ever be a father and two sons to win. So if you can do that.
I feel like you're putting a lot of pressure on Jalen at this point.
Definitely. And he feels the pressure too. He knows what needs to be done, and I can't wait. He's so excited.
Are you currently riding in the front seat because you won the Grey Cup?
I would have to say that, yeah. That's the first time I've said it out loud, but I would say so, yeah. And he feels that. I mean, he was drafted first, so he was put in the front seat at the start, even though I felt like I should have been drafted first. But ultimately, yeah, it's just another chip for him to move past me now.
How do you balance that? Because you guys play on opposite teams. So there has to be a level of competitiveness, but at the same time, support for one another.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, being our first time playing on different teams, the support's always there. The competitiveness also just comes with not even us, like other people. You know, I hear his coaches are like, oh, we should have drafted the other guy. Like, just little things like that, you know, just to get on him and, you know, motivate him as well. But I'm definitely there for support. You know, I would love to see him win a Grey Cup. And, you know, it's in BC next year. And, you know, Calgary, Montreal in the home, you know, it could be nothing better than that.
You know why I tape those interviews? Because I got smart. Last year we did all these weather delays, and I was like, not this year, Mother Nature. I'm going to pre-tape stuff so that we don't have to talk the entire time. You know what? Philpott, though, such a great kid, and I said at 23 years old, what he's accomplished, it really is truly remarkable.
Impressive.
Comes out with a bang with the 2 touchdowns, basically picking up exactly where he left off. The Montreal Alouettes were so impressive in that first game. You can say what you want about the Bombers, but the Owls looked fantastic. And now you know they're facing this Elks team that really, really wants to bounce back and not give up what they gave up a week ago, Milt.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. You talk about these Montreal Alouettes who most believe, including myself, they are the best team. I know it's just 1 week, but what they showed in that first week was impressive. And then we saw those Elks basically self-destruct, especially in that second half in the fourth quarter with all those undisciplined penalties. So it's going to be a hard-fought game. Cody Fajardo's been playing some great football. He seems to have some great chemistry with Philpott and the rest of his receivers. And then that Montreal defense, you know, they haven't lost a beat since they went on that winning streak last year. So the Elks are going to have to really play a great brand of football. They will not be able to commit those penalties and think they'll have an opportunity to win. But they do have an opportunity, but they have to be more disciplined in their play.
Talking to Cody, and he mentioned Tyson Philpott, and I asked him, you know, what was so good about Tyson? And and he said that Tyson runs every route looks exactly the same. So the way he stems on, and so he said, Cody says some of the times actually when Tyson's running routes, he halfway through the route, he says, I hope he knows he's got a post rider because it doesn't look like he's running a post, and then he sticks the post. But just, stuff like that as a receiver, you understand that that's tough to handle, but as a young receiver to be that polished at his route running is part of the reason why he's had this success so early.
Listen, one of the things that's special about this Montreal team, I remember last year at the Grey Cup after they won, I was walking on the field and I said, man, congratulations, guys. I didn't know. And they looked at me, they said, man, what? You didn't believe? A lot of the guys across the league were saying that it was a little bit fluky, but guess what? That team believes in themselves. They believe in themselves the whole time. And guess what? They are starting off on the right track this year. You talk about sometimes you got to believe it and fake it till you make it. They are believing it the whole way.
Well, and how do they not have a chip on their shoulder, too, starting on the road? I mean, you're the Grey Cup champions, and then the CFL schedule comes out, and you're like, you got to be kidding me. And they're that team, right? And we even heard it from them when they won the Grey Cup, and we get it, too. We weren't talking about them. We thought the Argos were going to beat them, even at halftime. We get that. But now I think they're at this point, finally, where they've proven themselves that they deserve to be the cream of the crop, and they want to be beating these teams in huge wins like that one against the Bombers.
They were the underdogs for a large part of the end of the season last year. But I don't know. I think we all got to rethink that. Now they can't be walking into a game thinking that they're the underdog. Remember, every game they got to bring their best shot because they are the defending champions, and they're going to get the best shot from every team they play this year.
You said it. I think it changed officially after week 1. Like, I think even going into the season, I think they still were overlooked. We still thought Winnipeg was going to roll them in week 1 at home after being pissed off because they lost in the Grey Cup and to a team they thought they were better than. And you saw what happened. I think you're right. I think that was the actual turning point to when this team and everyone around, other than them, started to think, okay, maybe they're for real.
Underdog or not, it really doesn't matter. When they step on the field, they believe that they are the best team out there, and that's what they've shown, and that's all that matters. I don't think they're too concerned with being called an underdog or saying, you're not the real. They've already shown that they are the best team. They are the team right now. They've surpassed everyone else, and they're showing that we can get it done week in and week out. We haven't lost a game. It's been 9 straight games dating back to last year. So they've proven that they are the team to beat, and other teams have to come for them right now.
All right, it should be a great matchup on Friday Night Football. But for now, we are attempting to finalize a game in the nation's capital between the RedBlacks and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Let us take you back to TD Place and join Rod Smith.
Thank you, Kate. Well, there have been times when Winnipeg had started to look like they were dominating and the RedBlacks coming back and looking the same, but neither can mess with Mother Nature, Maddie. I mean, we could see it on the clock winding down. The drama building as Winnipeg is driving. They got it in the Ottawa 42 with 2:09 to go, down by a touchdown. They did to punch it in, but all of a sudden, lightning strikes. Now, you as a player, I know as a broadcaster, you've been through this many times, but as a player, what's it like, especially when it's just so late in this game and there's so much on the line?
Your adrenaline is peaking. You're in a perfect position as a veteran quarterback like Zach Collaros. You're driving your football team on the 42, 2:09 on the clock, and you feel like momentum's on your side and everything's in front of you for the taking. And, it can be devastating because as much as you try to stay focused and stay up, your adrenaline's gonna dissipate over that period of time, and you do all you can to stay loose, obviously. You hydrate, you talk about schemes, what to anticipate. We saw Baron Miles be aggressive there in a couple series prior to this series and get to Zach Collaros. So you got to be thinking that they want to be aggressive and go down swinging and not play defense and let the veteran quarterback pick them apart. So you'll scheme it and, just do the best you can to deal with it because everybody else is going through the same thing. So no sense complaining about it. Eat something if you can, stay loose, listen to some music. People scratch that itch a bunch of different ways. So there's a lot of ways to go about it.
Well, here's an update. As it stands right now, we're about a half hour into this delay, and we are told, as you talked about, if it goes 1 hour and there's no sign of let up, then that would be it. Then Ottawa would be declared the winner, leading by 6 points. But we're not at that point yet. They're still hoping to get this game finished. And things feel better for us because we have shelter right now. Claire Hanna down on the field. A little bit of a different story. Claire, let's send it down to you.
Yeah, Rod and Maddie, here I am hearing you guys talking about Mother Nature, but you're protected up in the booth, and we have been dealing with the wrath of this rain for about 20 minutes now. It was on and off throughout the game, but as you can see just behind my shoulder, it's raining cats and dogs out there. It is coming down really hard. And when it really started coming down and you saw that lightning, well, everybody rushed in down the tunnel, whether that was officials, whether that was players, whether it was our broadcasting crew. And I'm just trying to give you a peek into the tunnel here. Right behind me is where the Blue Bombers are. And Mike O'Shea, the head coach, he was really in this tunnel for a long time. He was talking to CFL officials, trying to get some answers on what might be happening. And on the flip side, I'm going to let you guys, and it's funny, when we move the camera, everybody like runs away. They're terrified about being on camera. But this is where the RedBlacks are. And I mean, for them, they're kind of hopeful that this rain delay continues, because that would mean they would win the game. And I have to give a big apology to Kate, because about 3 hours ago when we opened this show, I promised you that there wouldn't be a rain delay, that I would talk to the refs. And you know where my big mistake is? They shortened halftime to 14 minutes. Well, I should have said, you guys, shorten it to 10 minutes because this game might be over. I apologize, Kate.
Claire, I forgive you. But maybe, because we have to burn at least another 15 minutes, you can give us a 15-minute rundown of how that Taylor Swift concert went. Because I feel like that would be really great for all the viewers at home.
Oh, I would love to go get Zach Collaros, and we could really talk about everything that happened in that suite during that game when he was watching Travis Kelce. But I don't know how much he's going to give us. He gave us enough, but he's like, you guys, it's like my buddy's girlfriend. I don't want to talk about her, which, you know, we understand.
No, it's a cool flex, to be quite honest. You know what, Claire? I completely forgive you. You're doing a great job, and I apologize because it's a lot toastier and warmer in here than it is currently where you are. So really appreciate the info, my friend, and stay warm and stay dry. All right, you know what, guys, as we were just saying, if this game does not get finished, I mean, my goodness, with 2:09, we're all just sitting here. And normally, you know, weather delays, it can be a long time. We've sat up here for nearly, 90 minutes, 2 hours before, and it's kind of drags on. But every one of us is just kind of sitting here like, we want this game to be wrapped up, because it just seems so unfair. And, Claire
wrapped
mentioned
up meaning finish it.
Finished.
Right.
We don't want it finished just with like the 60-minute mark. And you can see Mike O'Shea going through that hallway. I mean, you know what he's doing at this point. But, Ches, you want this done properly and played out.
Yeah, because, I mean, look, it's unfair for either squad, because we're going to leave this game kind of not knowing. And so
Ottawa will be okay, though.
Yeah, they'll be happy.
Ottawa's going to be okay.
They'll be happy.
They're going to be fine. No,
it's unfair.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Ottawa will take a victory any way they can get it.
Yeah.
Believe that.
Bobby Dice in there doing dances?
Yeah.
Doing rain dances?
Rain dance.
Oh, my goodness.
You think he's going to be telling the ref, no, let's go finish it? Dude.
Go flicker some lights in the condo, make it look like lightning. We want to keep it going here.
Yes, sir.
No.
But I'll tell you what, too, though, Ches, at the end of the day, we got to look at the totality of the game. Ottawa has done enough to be in the position that they are. So they earned the ability to be in this position right now. You look at the whole game. Drew Brown has been looking elite when he was in the pocket. Again, we talked about how when he gets out of the pocket, it was a little bit of trouble. But he was in the pocket for the most part. He was hitting all of his receivers. They had a running game going. The defense was making was having problems for that offense in Winnipeg. So they did enough, and they deserve to be in the position that they're in right now. The rain is out of their hands, is out of their control.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah, but for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, if they cannot finish this game or have an opportunity to win this game, Mike O'Shea, those guys are going to be heated. And is it unfair? Yes, but it's just a ruse, you know. I'm sure if they were on the flip side, they wouldn't have any problems with it. But if I'm the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and I don't get an opportunity to come out and have an opportunity to win this game, I mean, I don't know if you can protest, but if they can, I'm sure there will be some type of protest, because that's very unfortunate that it's that way.
I have a question. What happens if we have prop bets? Because I need
nobody but you has those
Time out. Is FanDuel refunding me because I need two more catches from Nick Dembski?
What else you need?
So is FanDuel going to refund me? Because this is unfair. It's a 2-minute drive. He's going to get 2 catches in a 2-minute drive. I wonder if FanDuel is going to refund me.
That's a good question.
Didn't you get your anytime touchdown, though?
I did, but I need Nick Dembski's 4.5 catches.
You probably need 17 other things, too, the way you put these parlays together, to be quite honest.
That is an awesome
I'm correct.
Jess. That's good.
By the way, too, I think that, honestly, those fans should be given something. If you're a fan and you're sticking out a 60-minute, at least 60-minute 2-minute weather delay in pouring rain, and you've been watching the whole game in the pouring rain.
You get to come back for free at the end.
The next game.
Those are the CFL things. We should pack those fans into one stadium because that's exactly
You know
who
what
we
they should
want
get,
in the
KB?
stands. What?
A big doofus hat.
Huh?
A big doofus hat. That's
What?
For sticking
what
around.
she get for staying there in the rain.
Come on, Jez. I mean, I think they're loyal fans, to be quite honest. All right, we've got plenty more to come up. But to be quite honest with you, we'll wait and see. We basically have 10 minutes before we'd like to see that these players will be back on the field warming up before the 11:13 Eastern start. If it does happen, we got plenty more coming up right after this.
I'll be gone. I'm going home.
Look at him. Look at him.
Keep coming.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers still waiting to see if they are going to get back on the field. Just 2:09 remaining in this game. And look, they want to get back out there because this game is going to be called 60 minutes after it was called the first time. Brings us to approximately 11:13 Eastern. And now, they're doing what I do with Act. See, I told you guys. You make fun of me that I'm trying to be a meteorologist before every game. But see, everyone's got the same app going on here. All right, let's get to Farhan Lalji and Dave Naylor with the latest from around the league.
Dave, Sean Lemon looked very good in the Als' Week 1 win at Winnipeg. Now, of course, we know that he has been suspended by the league for a gambling violation and is appealing that suspension. What's the latest on the appeal?
Well, Farhan, I'm led to believe that Sean Lemon's arbitration date is going to come down the first week of July, which would mean that he'll be able to participate in at least 3 more games for the Montreal Alouettes. In fact, possibly 4. The Als have a home game on July the 6th, hosting the Calgary Stampeders. So depending on when that arbitration hearing actually lands and when the decision is made, could be 4 games for him before we learn. Of course, if he wins his appeal, he'd be able to continue playing. But we know for at least now there will be 3 more Sean Lemon games. And this is not popular around the Canadian Football League with the other teams. I think there would be a desire to have a rule that said, hey, if you violate and it's proven you violate the gambling policy, you can't just appeal and jump back on the field. A lot of people do not like the optics of this at all. But that would require the agreement of the CFL Players Association, and the relationship between the league and the PA right now maybe not such that something like that could come together. So that may be way down the road. But certainly, I think a desire for something like that from the league side, maybe not so much from the PA.
Meanwhile, back on the field in Hamilton, they have signed a fairly big name, at least a fairly big last name, Talia Tagovailoa, the brother of Tua, who's currently the Miami Dolphins quarterback, has signed. Now, he has been on the negotiation list of the Ticats for about 3 years now, since before Ed Hervey even arrived in Hamilton. And they've had an interest in bringing him since late in the offseason, shortly before training camp. But they wanted him to have the opportunity to take his time and be sure that when he came, he was fully ready mentally, emotionally, all of that, to jump from American football into Canadian football. And I think this is a long-term play. I don't know that there's necessarily a desire to get Tagovailoa on the field anytime soon. He does have some pretty good pedigree. He's the Big Ten's all-time leading passer out of the University of Maryland, which also happens to be the same school that head coach Scott Milanovich played at. And the Ticats still are a little bit uncertain at their number 3 quarterback spot. They kind of view him as a Vernon Adams type, a player that has some athletic ability. Maybe doesn't have the downfield athleticism that Vernon did, but does have the pocket mobility. But VA took some time before he could really establish himself in this league. It took a number of years, and they think it'll take that long with a player like Talia. So they do like some of the things he does. They're mindful of the accuracy concerns that were around his profile when the NFL was getting ready for its draft process. But they believe he can develop that at this level, and there is some ceiling there. Taylor Powell is the Ticats quarterback of the future. I don't think he has anything to be worried about, but I do think they still want to find some time to develop Tagovailoa, and maybe either he plays for them in some capacity or as an asset that they could potentially move. But again, Vernon Adams is kind of the internal comparison.
The biggest shock, or one of the biggest shocks, certainly, of Week 1 in the CFL, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers putting up just 12 points in their loss to the Montreal Alouettes. And their offensive challenges won't necessarily get any easier this week because of personnel issues. Kenny Lawler, their number 1 receiver, out with a broken hand. He's out for a minimum 6 weeks, perhaps longer. And Brady Oliveira injured his knee in that game. Brady Oliveira has been as dependable and reliable and available a player as there's been in the CFL. I mean, he's dressed for all 36 games the last 2 seasons, but he will miss this game. Now, the one thing in this game, Ottawa missing some bodies as well. Their two starting corners, Elijah McGee and Brandon Dandridge, both of them are on the 6-game injured list. We know all the issues that Ottawa had giving up big plays a year ago, so a tough way to start out the season and try to clamp down on the back end, which was a huge problem for Ottawa. We'll see if Winnipeg can take advantage of it on Thursday night.
And I mentioned Vernon Adams earlier. He will play this Saturday night in front of what could be a crowd of 54,000 as the Lions play host to Calgary following the 50-cent concert. Now, Adams did hurt his hand in the loss to Toronto in week 1, but the x-rays came back negative. He's good to go. But it did lead to a lot of criticism around head coach Rick Campbell and the desire to use Adams as the Lions' short yardage quarterback, which led to 5 needless hits, theoretically needless at least, as far as many are concerned. But speaking to Campbell about it, he's wondering, why does every NFL quarterback take on short yardage duties? Why is it so different in the CFL? But at the same time, he is mindful of the potential additional hits that could lead to Adams. He likes the option of going fast and having its regular offense going in a short yardage situation and not allow the defense to substitute. But he does plan to use Jake Dolagala in that capacity at some point. So you may see some short yardage with Adams. You may see a bit more of a traditional short yardage package with Dolagala, but you'll see both and maybe a reduction in that area for Vernon Adams on Saturday night.
I have fantastic news. The players will be going back on the field at 11:05 Eastern. Play to resume at approximately 11:15 Eastern. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very happy Mike O'Shea. I think that's his happy face. Meanwhile, over in the RedBlacks locker room, they were like, man, we were that close.
Going home.
We were really going to do it, but you never know. Needless to say, look, it is great that this game is going to be finished the proper way. I think we can all agree on that one. Hey, we've got some Saturday night football between the Calgary Stampeders and the BC Lions. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. 4 Pacific is the time we will be there because we will be in the house for 50 Cent.
Yeah.
Tez keeps telling me I mispronounced 50 Cent, and it's 50 Cent.
Yeah, 50.
I just kept saying it. But look, I've been, playing in my car, I only know the one main song. But look, there's going to be over 50,000 people in attendance. And honestly, this place is going to be rocking. We saw it with LL Cool J last year. And the BC Lions need a big performance. I mean, they came out against the Argos. It was an entertaining game, but ultimately they lose on the road to start their season, and now they get a chance, a rematch of the Western semifinal against the Calgary Stampeders, who are coming off a nice victory themselves. But the Lions, especially with these fans, I mean, they need something big, Ches, don't they?
Yeah, and we heard Farhan and Dave discussing Vernon and his injury and him taking the risk of the short yardage, and Rick saying, why do NFL quarterbacks, the starting quarterback take the sneaks? Well, my answer to that is that there's your yard off the ball in the CFL. There's way more short yardage sneaks in a CFL game than there's an NFL game. So that will be my answer. It's not, you want to do the math on how many times the NFL quarterback sneaks, it's not as often. So yeah, I wouldn't want Vernon taking those hits. Hopefully he's healthy, because it's going to be a rocket atmosphere and pretty good out there. If you look at this BC offense, they average more yards per pass than anybody else in the league. In week 1. Right. And they lost the game. So look at it, how much they put up offensively and what they did, even though they struggled. That's a scary sign, because they can still put up the ball. They still have big play ability, and they struggle in week 1 with protection. So again, we'll see how they adjust, but that offense is still, even with the people missing, they're still quite explosive.
Yeah, and you see just shifting gears, Ottawa RedBlacks, they're getting ready to come out. They're trying to finish off this game.
Got to get pumped up.
They got to get pumped. They got their boombox booming. They're hyped up. They understand this is a great opportunity for them to start their season 1-0. So we're hoping that we can get this game in soon. Winnipeg Blue Bombers have the ball, 2:09 left, touchdown to go up. So stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to have an exciting finish.
One drive for the game. That's what it is.
Yep.
One drive for the game,
Yep.
pretty much.
Yeah, but it has to be a touchdown.
It has to be a touchdown.
I don't think they'll go for a field goal right now. I think if they're getting in position, if it's 3rd and short and they have an opportunity to kick the field goal, I think they're going to try to go for it, get the touchdown.
Well, and that's the thing, too, right? I mean, you see these guys, and for the Red Black, they're trying to hype themselves up. They're coming out the way they come out for a normal game right now, and I'm sure that's not the easiest thing to do after nearly an hour of sitting inside a locker room. But you're right. I completely agree. This has got to be a touchdown at this point. You don't want to come back the other way and have to respond the way that they're going to have to if Winnipeg ends up doing it. But for Winnipeg, I mean, I get they had to sit, but at least you have this glorious opportunity to finish the game off properly, Enoch.
That's right, absolutely. I mean, this is the CFL. There's plenty of time left. Zach Collaros seems like he's getting things rolling, and one more time, the ball is going to be in his hands. And if you're anybody in that Bomber organization, you like the odds with Zach Collaros with the ball in his hands at the end of a game with an opportunity to win.
So I'm looking at calls now and play calls. What do we see? What do we see from them in a money drive right here? Knowing Kenny Lawler's out of the game. What do you go to? You're starting running backs out of the game. What do you go to? Some Wolodarski, maybe some play action, maybe get Dempsey on some rubs and some crossers, try to work that. But again, it's probably 3-down territory. And again, on the flip side, what do you get defensively? So we've seen a lot of zone from Ottawa thus far. Do they stay in that and allow Zach to dissect, or do they heat him up and try to get him, in a second and long or behind the sticks, and that's the best way to get him off the field.
Look at the difference in these two, and it's
totally
either way, it doesn't matter. But the way they came out of the locker room, Ottawa was like, we're about to go to a party, and Winnipeg looked like they were going to a business. And it doesn't matter which way you come out. It's just the different way that teams approach the game. So it has no bearing on this game. Why am I bringing it up? Because I wanted to. So
No, I wasn't saying why. But
you mentioned it too. You've got the RedBlacks with the boombox. Yeah. You've got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers just casually walking out of the locker room. I mean, it's completely different.
You know what the Bombers are going to say, Kate?
What's that?
That's the calm after the storm.
Oh, very nice.
Goodness.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Did one of your daughters just tell you to say that?
Listen, I'm a dad. I can make those jokes.
Hey, but you can make dad jokes all night long.
You know why that is, though, guys? And it's execution, to Milt's point. It's execution. It's offense for Winnipeg. Winnipeg's good on offense. So that's calm. That's execution. Yep. Defense is energy, and they need to pick their energy. That's why I think you see two different.
So, I mean, you've played 95% of a football game, and now you just sat for an hour, and they expect to get back to the level immediately. I mean, you got 2:09 remaining in this game. Milt, what's the biggest concern as a player jumping into it? I mean, could it be injury? Could it be not having that flow anymore, not being hyped anymore? I mean, what's your biggest problem going into this situation right here?
I think the hypeness, when Winnipeg was, and that's why Mike O'Shea was so mad, and there was nothing that could be done because Winnipeg had that momentum. They were moving the ball down the field. Everything was looking good for them, and then all of a sudden you pull the plug and we have to restart now. It's easier to get that hype back on defense. Ottawa understands now what they have to do, but now Winnipeg, they have to get back into that momentum and understand what they have to do, and that's the mental part of the game. That has nothing to do with the physical part. That's all the mental part of the game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they come out. This first play is going to determine a lot. Can they get that momentum back? If not, if they get in second and long and Ottawa feels like, man, we get off the field, we stop them right here, we got a great opportunity.
We see the weather.
It's going to be difficult.
We see the weather. We see that. We know how long the delay's been. We see the weather. Enoch, who has the advantage?
I mean, I like Ottawa. They've had the advantage throughout the course of the game. Everything has been working thus far. If I'm Baron Miles,
it looks like
it's let up a little bit. So now it's opening up for guys, for the receivers now. They're kind of getting back into the game, Milt. So they're going to be a part of the game plan as well. But if you look at the game, if I'm Baron Miles, I'm not sending any pressure because Zach Collaros has been dissecting that defense every time he tried to bring some pressure. He gets out of the pocket, he's comfortable, he's calm enough, and he finds the open guy. And so I'm staying back. And a lot of the problems and the issues that we saw erupt for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers has been, when we look at it, no real pressure coming, but there's gains up front. The defensive line is moving, is twisting, and every time we saw that happening as well, we saw back-to-back holds, and so I would bring more of that if I'm Baron Miles.
You know why we're seeing not a lot of pressure from Ottawa, and I talked about it in the pregame, but this young secondary, remember, on the corners, I mean, Money was out last year. Money's a vet, but he was out last year.
Right.
And then Lamont young on the other side. So that's why B. Miles is dropped back playing a lot of zone. You don't want to get, in this situation especially, I agree with you, Enoch. I expect them to drop back, play zones, hope they can get there with 4, keep everything in front of them and tackle. Because you don't want to have one of these young defensive backs with their back turned, having to play a ball in the air, maybe a pass interference, and get first and goal. So I agree that's what we expect early here.
2 interceptions already so far in this game. The party started. Party started already. He got the first one. And shout out to the young boy. Shout out to the young boy, Alonzo Adai, with his first interception of the season as well. So we got to watch out for that. These guys, these DBs, will be ready for anything Zach Collaros is going to throw at them.
Chaz, I'm totally with you here. I think the weather has drastically improved since they went off in a torrential downpour and then the lightning, of course, too. But this looks a lot better than before. And Milt, if you're constructing that drive for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, obviously they are accounting for the rain at that point. Would you change anything, or are you going with the exact same game plan?
Right now, my first play, I'm trying to get a big play. I'm trying to score on this first play. I'm going to come out and surprise them and go deep, regardless if it's zone or man. I'm going to devise something where I got a couple of guys going vertical and see if we can catch them off guard. You talked about those young defensive backs, you know? It's almost like a reset now. The game has started over. So if I'm the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, if I'm Mike O'Shea, if I'm Buck Pierce, I'm saying let's go for it right now. Let's see if we can put this on them right now and not end the game, but put it back in our favor. That's what I would do from the gun.
If that's the case, it's going to be Wheatfall or Wellertarsi, because we're seeing it's going to be cover 4 quarters coverage. Very likely, if they're playing zone, they're going to play quarters, and that's going to. And when you're playing quarters, you're always going to get one-on-one on the outside. If you can get that slot to attack the inside quarters guy, you get one-on-one on the outside. So that's
on offense right now, they got to test that defense, the defensive backs, really find out if they did a good job warming up, because I'm going right away coming out the half. And really, let's see if that hype is real. You
know, we see those die-hard fans in attendance, and they look like they're still enjoying a nice cold brew, and it doesn't look as bad as we said weather-wise. I do have a question, though. Is Henry Burris still in the building at this point? Milt, have you seen, if you were Henry Burris, would you still be there?
Oh, yeah. I think Smiling Hank is still there. Is his family still there? I don't know, but Smiling Hank is still there, signing autographs with that big old smile.
Oh, there, his kids are still there.
Where's Henry? The family's there.
They're chilling in a suite. They're completely fine.
Is that Hank behind there?
Well, Hank is older. He probably had to go to the bathroom. I'm not sure.
Look at this. You know what? This is just great camera work right there. I said, did he stick it out? He completely stuck it out for the entire hour delay. You know what? Well, yeah, he's indoors, but I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, he still stayed.
He's still there.
We all know Hank. Wouldn't you expect that? Obviously, they're celebrating. It's been a great night. I would expect Hank to be at a local restaurant having a nice bottle of wine and some food right now. I would expect him to be gone, but maybe he's changed.
The one thing we know for sure about Hank is he's going to have a smile.
He's going to be smiling.
He is. All right, here we go. Predictions for our last minute of Phil here. Let's start with you. Davis Sanchez. You got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers looking for their first win of the season. The Ottawa RedBlacks in their debut of 2024. Who ends up winning this one after a very odd weather delay?
Gosh, a game pick with this?
Go ahead. Pressure's on, Junior.
That's exactly.
Just do it.
I take Ottawa to close it. I think Ottawa closes it.
No.
Yeah, I'm taking Ottawa to close it also.
It's a sweep. I like Ottawa for the center of this game, and they're going to continue on to close.
I'm changing my pick.
You can't change your pick.
I'm going to take Winnipeg.
Okay, Milt, you changing too?
And Dempsey's going to score.
I'm sticking with Ottawa. I think it's so hard to score right now, and they have to score a touchdown.
2 catches for Dembski, and Winnipeg wins.
What about you, Kate?
What do you got?
No one cares about your parlay. No one at all.
I didn't say that. I said 2 catches for Dembski, and Winnipeg wins.
And look, we've had an hour weather delay, but now I know every single wager you currently have up in the air, and whether you get the money back from FanDuel, no one cares.
Mind your business, Kate.
What about you, Kate?
I can't.
What do you got, Kate?
You
have Kate?
No, you know what? I'm going to give this one to the Ottawa RedBlacks. I think they hang
That's why you wore red today, huh, Kate? That's why you wore
red because it's a power suit, not because of the Ottawa RedBlacks. And you know I look great in it, so it doesn't even matter. You know what? I could have just done a fashion show the entire time, but let's get back to football. Here's Rod and Matt.
All right, thank you, Kate. Well, the kids had to come inside for an hour. Too dangerous, but they're back in the playground now. It's the way it should be, really. Just a couple of minutes to go. They get to decide.
Yeah, and God love our panel for doing that. Hey, been there, done that. Well done. Talk a lot of football. It's what you prep for, and you nailed it. So these guys are hoping to nail it right now. And take a look at what happened in this football game to this point. And a lot of smash mouth football and some explosive plays sprinkled in. And but believe me, both these teams are scratching and clawing. Ottawa looking for their first one. Winnipeg as well on the road. And yeah, difficult situation for sure with this delay coming out, trying to make something happen right away.
A delay of 1 hour, and for Mike O'Shea and Bob Dice back on the field, let's reset you. Winnipeg driving, barely 2 minutes on the clock, 2:09. They have it down to the Ottawa 42. They're down by 6. They need a touchdown and a point after to win it. They need at least the touchdown to tie, and there's the thought force overtime, as if we haven't had that already. But that's the state in now. The field, of course, sopping wet with all this rain coming down, but the lightning danger has gone, and so we resume. 30 seconds away from the start of this game, the resumption after the long weather delay. The Bombers looking for their first win of the season. This is their second game. They haven't started 0-2 since 2016. The RedBlacks haven't won their opener since 2021. This is their first game of the season. Their season opener, their home opener, and they won't forget this, especially if they can hang on, as we're about to resume play again on a 1st and 10 for Winnipeg. Lots of momentum swings in this game. At one point, the Bombers did lead by a point at 17-16 in the second half before Ottawa came back in a touchdown by Justin Hardy. Here we stand, 23-17. These two will decide it, beginning now from the Ottawa 42, and Zach Collaros, with time, completes it 2 down to the 30. That is Dalton Schoen, who's had a quiet night. One of the top receivers in the Canadian Football League, but a big catch there.
One of the most simplest plays in all of football. You run this in junior high, it curl flat, and Dalton Schoen just pushes Money Hunter out of his back pedal just enough to pick up an easy first down. Nice play, well executed, but very basic.
Still lots of time. 1.5 minutes to go. A 1st and 10 down at the Ottawa 30. Looking for the end zone. Collaros goes to the right. He's got a wide open receiver. It's Drew Wolodarski. And here comes Winnipeg inside the 10. A 1st and goal. 1:24 in the clock.
Wolodarski just going to do a little fly and die right over here, and everybody forgets about him watching. Just like, and just, yeah. He muscles it out there in the rain. Wolodarski down to the 7.
Drew Wolodarski, veteran wide receiver. Tobias Harris coming in, but he was open. It's down to the 7. Very quickly, starting a couple of plays earlier at the 42. Winnipeg trying to come out of this break, score the touchdown that could give them the victory. Collaros, end zone, no, a bit too far. That was for Carrick Wheatfall, who had a couple of big catches in this game. One for 76 yards as he's slow to get up, and a 2nd and goal coming up.
Wow, just a fade route, and he had him, and ball, and watch this route, and this is impressive. They're going to the young man. Really done a nice job of doing anything with Money Hunter, just kind of outside release, and Hunter used the sidelines to his advantage. So, yeah. Going to have to work in that release to move the DB a little bit in order to have a chance to have the quarterback go your way off it.
1 minute on the clock. 3-down ball here. It is 2nd and goal. Collaros and the Blue Bombers. Can they get the touchdown? Oh, knocked away by Damon Webb when it was heading for Dalton Schoen. A brilliant play by the RedBlacks defensive halfback, Damon Webb, coming in to save the day, at least for now, for Ottawa.
Right here, and then watch Webb close right on his heels. And game's on the line here, basically. You got to get there, sell out Superman.
Beautiful. What an amazing play by Webb. He's had a few big plays in this game, including a sack. But it's 3rd and goal, and the Bombers have one more chance to find the end zone. Collaros under the pressure, taken down, and a turnover on downs, and it is looking like the Ottawa RedBlacks have hung on with 50 seconds to go. The RedBlacks take over. Adarius Pickett, the Ottawa defense rising up when it mattered most.
Yeah, right here. And you're going to watch. I think Pickett gets in here too. Malden kind of forces it. Collaros is flush to him, and Malden gets right there and gets enough of his legs, and he's on the ground. Little twist game up front. I think Enoch talked about the importance of twisting and gaining leverage, and he saw it right there. And Malden comes up with the play of the game.
Lorenzo Malden, Defensive Player of the Year 2 years ago for the Red Blacks. What a spot there for Ottawa's defense that really had an excellent second half, fourth quarter, getting pressure on Collaros. So Drew Brown and the Red Blacks take over. 1st and 10 from their 11. Whistle blows. And 44 seconds left.
Timeout's been called.
We got Winnipeg using their timeout now.
Come on, baby.
So you're looking at 2nd and 5 here. Biggest play of Drew Brown's young career as a starting quarterback for the Red Blacks. Right here, facing it, backed up, needs a first down to seal the game. Can he step up to the plate?
A first down would indeed wrap it up in Ottawa's season opener, this 10th season. What a night. It's been that much longer. Second down. And good work by Reddick Cramney to come in and make the tackle.
And relied on the big boys up front to move the pile and pick up the first down. It's you have to punt this football away, and defense is going to be back to you. Baron Miles, what you got?
And who knows what could happen in these slick conditions. I mean, the lightning warning is over, but still lots of rain falling down to the field.
Yeah.
And we've seen it on special teams. Hey, you never know what can happen. What kind of explosive play can take place?
Well, just securing the snap here. If you're the punter and this punt team here, just getting a decent snap and getting it off in these conditions.
So Leone and the Red Blacks to take that clock all the way down, under 10 seconds on the play clock. Leone standing down near his goal line.
Take this down about to 19, 20.
Gets the snap. He's going to give up the 2. He's going to give up the 2 because it still gives them a 4-point lead. So Winnipeg will get the ball with just seconds to go, but a field goal is still no good. They would still need a touchdown. So the safety is given up to make it a 23-19 game, Ottawa leading. And
love that decision by Coach Bobby Dice. Give up the 2, like you say, Rod. Still a 4-point game. You don't put yourself in harm's way with a big return. Yeah. That's up.
So
Timer. Please reset the game clock to 15 seconds. It's going to be first down for Winnipeg at their 40-yard line.
So they do get the ball in their hands again. Another chance for Collaros, but just 15 seconds to go. And they still, like the last time, need a touchdown.
Yeah. I like the situation from Zach Collaros a lot better before. On 3rd and goal from the 5, and as opposed to 1st and 10 on the 40 with 15 seconds. My goodness, things have changed in a hurry here with great defensive play by the Red Blacks.
Ottawa just trying to hang on and win their opener. Start the season at 1-0. Bombers need a miracle. It's caught. 10 seconds on the clock, down closer. It's shown with it down around the 51 of the Red Blacks.
Yeah, see what Zach's got here. Going short, you got to start loud on it. If not, Baldwin, you got to chunk it.
Here we go. Wide open and just a bit behind Ontario Wilson as it falls incomplete.
Still 2 seconds on the clock, right?
So one more play.
Whew.
A long night's been made a little longer, hasn't it?
Yeah, you don't see these defenses very often.
Well, for one of these teams, and it's looking like Ottawa right now, the W would certainly help ease any pain or inconvenience from the delay. Here we go. Last play. Collaros gets away for a moment, is able to chuck it down the field near the goal line. All RedBlacks there. It's knocked away. Mother Nature messed with this game, but it did not decide it. The Ottawa RedBlacks did. An hour later, they come on, and their defense got it done as the RedBlacks start the season, number 10 in their history, with their first win of the year.
Talk to High Point that, knock it down, and
Bob Dice, like he did against Winnipeg a year ago, can celebrate a dramatic victory. But this one took a little bit of a different turn, Matty, but Ottawa will certainly take it.
yeah, it did. Tough fought battle under these conditions. Winnipeg drops to 0-2, and Ottawa's out of the gate fresh with a 1-0 start with a new quarterback.
Drew Brown, once an understudy of Zach Collaros, gets his team to work with, making his debut with the RedBlacks. And after a lot of time of uncertainty and a long weather delay, worth the wait for the RedBlacks as Brown and company do indeed get the victory. Thanks for sticking around with us and watching this game on Thursday Night Football. SportsCenter's coming up next here on TSN. Good night, everybody.